Chapter 1637. Wang Feng waited in silence. Crimson God Sky Fox. Wang Feng had only seen it once in Dark Demon World, Qingyang Demon Region's Qiqiuling. However, he could never forget it. Judging from his demeanor and aura, Wang Feng could tell at first glance that this Crimson Fox Venerable was a powerful being. That feeling of familiarity was unmistakable. It was the Crimson God Sky Fox race. However, it was different from the figure that appeared in front of Wang Feng in Qiqiuling. This Crimson Fox should be a member of this race, and the figure in Qiqiuling should be a supreme being of the Crimson God Sky Fox race, a universe-level life form. As for why this Crimson Fox would appear in this world, Wang Feng had no idea. He only remembered that the Crimson God Sky Fox race hid their identity in Dark Demon World and stayed there for a period of time. During this period of time, some of their race members died and entered Soul World. So what is it? Wang Feng looked at it and asked. You have a thread of emotion on you. It's a scarlet navy blue. It's vague. This means that the owner of this thread is our Crimson God Sky Fox race. The scarlet navy blue thread of emotion is one of the 8 great bitter emotions, boundless infatuation. As the color itself is scarlet blue, it's also known as boundless scarlet navy. Crimson Fox slowly said, this thread of emotion is something that only our Crimson God Sky Fox race has. Because our Fox Saint has grasped a portion of the yin-yang willpower, the incomplete willpower, although it allows our race to have all sorts of powerful abilities, is because the yin-yang willpower is too vast that even our Fox Saint can't fully grasp it. Hence, because of this, using the thread of emotion from the yin-yang willpower will cause our race to suffer a curse. A type of emotion curse. Crimson Fox's tone was slightly disappointed. Is it the boundless infatuation that you mentioned? Wang Feng frowned. What's so powerful about this emotion curse? The so-called boundless means that there's no end. Crimson Fox said, bearing this emotion curse, once our race develops feelings of love, they will only end up with a lifetime of infatuation without any results. There's no end. The strand of affection on you is faintly discernible. Clearly, the Fox Saint of my clan has discovered this matter and wants to cut off the strand of affection on you. But obviously, he didn't succeed. The Crimson Fox Supremacy's voice was filled with bitterness when he finished speaking. It was probably because it had a similar experience as well, and it looked very disappointed. Then your Crimson Divine Celestial Fox clan is really average. Wang Feng didn't really believe the other party's words. Just a curse, and you're already so annoyed? As a universe-level life form, you can't even break the karma of a curse. You don't understand. Scarlet Fox Supremacy shook his head. This isn't pure karma, but a curse of the universe's will. This curse would not disappear even if the soul was reincarnated. The will of the universe was a supreme power that could control a part of the universe. Wanting to control this kind of power was extremely risky. Our love curse is pretty good. At least we can avoid it. Most of the races and life forms in the universe, once they are infected with the curse of the universe's will, most of them will be wiped out. The kind that can't even be found as a speck of dust, directly obliterated and disappeared from the universe. It's as if he never appeared. What he said made sense. I don't really believe in that. Wang Feng shook his head. This thread of love should be referring to Hulaina, because she was the only one who became a Crimson Divine Celestial Fox. When I get out, I'll find the owner of this thread of love and tie her to my side. Wang Feng smiled. I do want to see what this love curse of yours will do. She won't die, Scarlet Fox Supremacy said. However, the karma of the universe will interfere with you and her. You won't be able to tie her to your side, unless you only have her in your heart, and you can become a universe-level life form, controlling the complete universe's will. The curse of the love thread will naturally disappear. However, the possibility of that happening is too low. Scarlet Fox Supremacy shook his head. Hence, the life forms of my clan normally wouldn't fall in love. I think this thread of love on your body should be due to some sort of fate with the Crimson Divine Celestial Fox clan. Later on, it became a Crimson Divine Celestial Fox clan and bore this curse. As Scarlet Fox Supremacy said that, Wang Feng understood now. Back then, the Crimson Divine Celestial Fox in Chi Ling had to erase the memories of the other women in his mind. Only Hulaina's memories were left. Hence, you said that my love calamity is this? Wang Feng didn't intend to continue discussing this. No. Scarlet Fox Supremacy pointed at Wang Feng. It's another one. Wang Feng was stunned. Calamity? It's a calamity. Scarlet Fox Supremacy said, counting your body. There are only 4 threads of love of various sizes that have truly condensed. Only 4. Wang Feng counted and thought. That's not right. Are there so few? Yes. Scarlet Fox Supremacy nodded. Normally warriors that have reached your level, like those demon gods, would have countless threads of love wrapped around them. However, most of them are extremely fine, illusory, and not condensed enough. Even for universe-level life forms with one cycle of life, they would usually have countless threads of love. Most of them would be able to wrap around their entire body. Even those that are truly condensed would have at least hundreds of them. Condensed threads of love belong to the type where both parties are strong and emotionally stable. However, there are some exceptions. Some warriors don't even have a single thread of love on them. However, those are extremely rare. There are very few of them in the universe. Oh, that means I'm not strong enough? Wang Feng coughed a few times. He felt that it was already quite a lot. There were a total of 6 threads. You only have 4 condensed threads of love on you. However, those half-illusory threads are still quite a few. Half-illusory threads of love signify that your emotions are unstable or there are other obstacles, amongst which a few emit extremely special energies. Their strength and status should be extremely high. Also, Scarlet Fox Supremacy frowned slightly. He had probably discovered something special. 2 of the threads are actually of the same origin. That means they should be family. Lu Yu glanced at Wang Feng in surprise. Wang Feng coughed a few times. You don't have to mind. Scarlet Fox Supremacy's tone was calm. I've seen 7 or 8 threads of love that are of the same origin. This isn't much. Wang Feng was stunned for a moment, and he couldn't help but curse in his heart. Your love tribulation happened because of one of them. Scarlet Fox Supremacy pointed at Wang Feng's neck. This thread of love looks very thick and bright red. However, it gave birth to a shadow and wrapped around your neck. This is the backlash of the thread of love. It means that you might die in her hands. This is the love calamity that I can see. Scarlet Fox Supremacy frowned slightly. Also, I can't solve it. I can't help you. Wang Feng pondered for a few seconds. If what Scarlet Fox Supremacy said was true, then did it mean that he would die in the hands of Bibi Dan and Xianren Xue? This was obviously impossible. It was impossible for the 2 of them to be here, let alone kill him. Wang Feng didn't quite believe it. You don't quite believe it? Scarlet Fox Supremacy seemed to have guessed Wang Fengxin's thoughts. You think it's impossible? He laughed and said, in fact, when a love calamity happens, the person facing the calamity won't believe it, because they won't believe that the person they love will kill them. That's why it's called a calamity. It's an inescapable calamity. This sentence made a bit of sense. In any case, to be able to see you, a Scarlet Divine Sky Fox, can be considered to have solved the doubts that have been in my heart for a long time. Also, thank you for telling me this. It's just that. Wang Feng waved his hand and said, it's not that I don't believe in the love calamity, but I think that I can solve it. The same goes for the love curse that you mentioned. Scarlet Fox Supremacy smiled. He had heard a lot of such words. But so what? Could it change in the end? He looked at the sky and didn't speak for a long time. Speaking of which, I'm very curious. Why is a Scarlet Divine Sky Fox in this place? Wang Feng finally brought the topic back to Scarlet Fox Supremacy. Because of the love curse. Scarlet Fox Supremacy spat out these 4 words. Wang Feng glanced at it again. I want to ask, can I see the thread of love on my body? Wang Feng suddenly asked. Yes, I can help you open the eye of love for a while. Scarlet Fox Supremacy came back to his senses. He formed a seal with both hands and pulled off a strand of hair on his face. His eyes emitted a red glow. The hair slowly disappeared in his hands. A strange light condensed at his fingertips. This is my clan's secret technique, Fate Heavenly Eye. It's not limited to the physical body or the soul. It can help you open the eye of love for a moment. You can briefly see some of the karma related to marriage, but it can only last for 15 minutes. If it lasts for a long time, you will also be cursed because you touched the karma related to the universe's will. 15 minutes is enough. Wang Feng nodded. Scarlet Fox Supremacy pointed the light at his fingertips at Wang Feng's eyes. In that instant, Wang Feng felt his eyes burning, and there was a strange feeling in his heart. When he opened his eyes again, the world had not changed. Then, his gaze fell on Scarlet Fox Supremacy. Just as Scarlet Fox Supremacy said, there was indeed a thread of love on its body. However, it was a pitch-black thread of love. It was very strange. Then, Wang Feng's gaze fell on himself. He could see 4 solid threads of love. Through these 4 threads of love, he knew who they represented. Other than that, there were several threads of love that were not solid, but were still tightly wrapped around his body. The one mentioned by Scarlet Fox Supremacy was at his neck. It was a shadow created by a thread of love. It was very special. Primordial origin. After seeing the real situation, Wang Feng immediately used the primordial origin to deduce and analyze. Countless possibilities flashed through Wang Feng's mind. Finally, he locked on a one. He understood the consequences, but did not know the cause. 15 minutes later, the burning sensation in his eyes disappeared. When he opened his eyes again, he could no longer see any threads of love. I see. Wang Feng closed his eyes. This was the power of the primordial origin. As long as he knew the information, he could deduce and analyze it. You seem to have used some kind of origin just now? Scarlet Fox Supremacy looked at Wang Feng in surprise. This kind of origin even affected the karma of love. The threads of love on your body have changed. How is this possible? It seemed to have seen an impossible change. Its expression changed like a roller coaster, from calm to shock to disbelief. What change? Wang Feng asked with interest. Scarlet Fox Supremacy was silent for a long time. It rubbed its eyes and said softly, "The illusory thread wrapped around your neck has broken off. This means there is a chance of survival." Impossible. You are not an ordinary life form. Scarlet Fox Supremacy muttered. To change your love calamity, you need at least a universe-level life form to use the will of the universe to change it. But just now, in just 15 minutes, the love calamity changed. A chance of survival. This was the power to change the karma of the universe. Only a universe-level life form that controlled the will of the universe could do it, even if he was just a soul. The difficulty of changing it was much lower. But just the words "will of the universe" set the threshold firmly. All right, that's enough chatting. It's time to release that demon god. Wang Feng smiled. Scarlet Fox Supremacy nodded and looked at Wang Feng from head to toe. It could not help but think, as expected of the person chosen by Fox Saint, he was indeed extraordinary. She walked to the bottom of the tree. She imprinted her palm on the tree trunk. A huge light imprint gradually rose from the bottom of the tree and then cracked open. The purple Ing soul suppression tree suddenly shrank and quickly split into 2. A huge demonic shadow squeezed out from the center of the crack. It was the demonic will of the demon god of Huang Hai. Compared to the previous 2 times, the demonic shadow was not as arrogant as before. Instead, it looked calm. It even sat cross-legged in the air and looked at Wang Feng indifferently. The look in his eyes was one of anticipation, as if he already knew what kind of fate he would face. It almost said, "Come, kill me if you have the guts. I don't care." What? You're not going to struggle this time. Wang Feng narrowed his eyes and looked at the demonic will of the demon god of Huang Hai. There were a total of 6 spots. This was already the 4th one. This meant that the demon god of Huang Hai only had 2 demonic wills left. He was getting closer and closer to death. Human, since you can listen to the words of this scarlet deity Sky Fox and use the power of the origin to change the karma of the universe, Why don't you tell me? Why don't you calculate how important this noble one's secret is to you? The demon god of Huang Hai smiled and said, I only have 3 demonic wills left. This one is probably gone as well. Only 2 demonic wills are left. How about we make a bet? What bet? Asked Wang Feng. I bet that you won't kill my last demonic will, said the demon god of Huang Hai solemnly. Wang Feng did not even bother to look at him. He swung his axe at the demonic will. An earth-shattering axe light flashed. The demonic will turned into a huge amount of soul energy that was completely devoured by the primordial origin and injected into the Pangu axe. What an idiot. Why should I bet with you? Wang Feng shook his head. You've devoured the souls of demon gods. The demon gods of the dark demon world are all very cunning and sinister, warned the scarlet deity Skyfox. I've been guarding this place for a long time. This demon god of Huang Hai has been using all sorts of methods to bewitch me at almost every moment. There were a few times when I almost couldn't hold back. You're entangled with the emotions of my compatriots. It's best to be careful. Wang Feng nodded slightly. He had been paying attention to them all the time. Chapter 1638. His Pangu axe martial soul had taken on a clearer form after absorbing the spiritual energy formed by this demonic thought. I should leave. Wang Feng did not intend to stay. He glanced at the leopard behind him and said, I'll have to trouble you to explain to this leopard. Although you can't change reality, I believe that with the strength of your Crimson God Celestial Fox clan, you should be able to change the threads of love slightly. At least, a life form of this leopard's level should not be a problem for you. You, the Crimson Fox Supreme Venerable, was slightly stunned. I roughly understand the karma of your marriage, Wang Feng said slowly. That's why you said that you can't help that demonic beast. I know that you should be able to do it. When he used the primordial origin to calculate the threads of love in his body, he also touched upon the karma of marriage. Although the primordial origin could not calculate the higher level of the universe's will, it was enough for the origin to calculate. The Crimson Fox Supreme Venerable was similar to the Moon Elder in the mythical heavenly court. It could control the threads of love. However, the stronger a life form was, the heavier the karma it had to bear. For example, the Crimson Fox Supreme Venerable was unable to change the karma on its body because it could not bear the karma of changing it. It could instantly turn into ashes. However, for a small soul beast like the golden lightning leopard of the Douluo continent, it was not a problem for it to change the threads of love in its body. The Crimson Fox Supreme Venerable was hesitant to speak, but eventually nodded. Actually, I understand that you don't want to change it because you are afraid of being affected by the karma of marriage, which will affect the curse of your clan. Wang Feng said, in fact, new karma can only be created if you change it. The reason why you can't break the curse is because you are too afraid of the karma of the universe. But in reality, only newly created karma has the possibility of changing it. Moreover, you are already touching the karma of marriage by telling these souls what happened before they were born. Why do you have to deceive yourself and ignore karma? After he finished speaking, Wang Feng bade farewell to the leopard and left. The Crimson Fox Supreme Venerable stood there in a daze. After a long time, it regained its senses. Come forward. It looked at the golden lightning leopard. Junior Leopard walked up cautiously. He first looked into the distance and found that no one was returning. Then he said, Supreme Crimson Fox, can I stop asking? It's mainly because my fellow countrymen pull me up here. Actually, I don't really care about what happened to me when I was alive. Red Fox Venerable Master gave Junior Leopard a strange look. It made a grabbing motion toward the golden lightning leopard, as if it was trying to extract something. The golden lightning leopard subconsciously took a step back, only to discover that the Crimson Fox Supreme's hand had not touched him. Don't be afraid. You were just an ordinary beast when you were alive, said the Crimson Fox Supremacy. You had a partner when you were alive, and she even gave birth to a nest of offspring. Because you died in battle, the humans in your world treated them very well. As it spoke, it retracted its hand and pulled out a leaf from the cracked purple tree in the distance. It placed it in its hand and gently blew on it. The scene appeared before his eyes. In the scene, There was a smaller silver lightning leopard resting in a nest built in the forest. From the neat nest and the 3 young golden lightning leopards quietly sucking on their mother's milk, it was not hard to see that they were living in a good environment. As if it sensed something, the silver lightning leopard suddenly opened its eyes and looked around. Seeing this scene, the golden lightning leopard's eyes turned sour. "Look, they're actually living a good life." "Your worries are unnecessary," said the Crimson Fox Supreme. Thank you, thank you." The golden lightning leopard prostrated on the ground and kowtowed to the Crimson Fox Supreme. After saying that, its soul energy trembled and seemed to become even more solid. The Crimson Fox Supreme waved its hand slightly, indicating that it could leave. The golden lightning leopard stood up, and its expression gradually returned to normal. It took a deep breath and walked down the steps. The Crimson Fox Supreme looked at the sky, then at the countless souls below the steps, and said, "This is it. That's all for today. Come again tomorrow." His voice was like a breeze, blowing down, causing the souls below the steps to sigh and disperse. The Crimson Fox Supreme walked to the top of the purple tree and pondered for a long time. It thought of the golden lightning leopard's soul state when it left. It had been here for a long time and had a deep understanding of souls. It was a very special soul state, similar to the state of having no regrets and a sublimated soul state. That little leopard's life experience was not complicated. Even if it died, its only regret was that. After understanding this, it knew that it was dead. However, its partner and child did not suffer any calamity. Instead, they were protected by humans. It was enough for its soul to not have any regrets. The strands of love gradually disappear, and the karma is settled. This special soul state allows its soul to not be eroded by the water of the Nether River. It can easily enter the soul-cleansing sea. The Crimson Fox Supreme had been here for so many years, but the number of times it encountered such a situation could be counted on one hand. However, it did not expect that just by changing it slightly, it could cause at this moment. While it was thinking, countless leaves from the purple tree suddenly flew up on their own. The Crimson Fox Supreme hurriedly knelt on the ground and said respectfully, "Emperor, he has already left." The leaves gradually rose and formed a blurry figure. "How is it?" the figure said indifferently. "I don't understand." The Crimson Fox Supreme said in a low voice. He should have believed most of what I said about the love calamity. However, what? However, I did not expect that he seemed to be able to change the karma of marriage. He found a trace of hope from an unsolvable calamity. I don't know whether this is good or bad. The Crimson Fox Supreme shook its head and said, "Oh, he is now a remnant soul. He is so weak, but he still has this ability?" The figure was surprised. "Yes, that's why I did not expect to encounter such a situation. Moreover, I do not know how he found that trace of hope. What does he know?" The Crimson Fox Supreme stood up. "It's fine. This is a good thing. Originally, I only asked you to tell him that a calamity is coming. Now, he can find a trace of hope himself. No wonder he is the man that Nana can't forget." The leaves on the figure's face moved, revealing a few arcs. Also, the Crimson Fox Supreme hesitated for a while. Although he is a remnant soul, and his soul seems weak, the weapon formed by his soul energy is very powerful. It can even kill the demonic thoughts of a demon god easily. Perhaps it can break this evil world. Humph, that's just a scheme. The figure sneered. Although you know a lot about this place, there's still many things that you do not understand. The reincarnation, well, here, is very important. It is the source of this initial cycle calamity. Those old guys have been plotting for tens of thousands of years, waiting for this moment. The fate of a mere demon god of desolate ocean has been determined long ago. Chapter 1639. Then Supreme Red Fox said in a low voice, "Since he managed to find a chance of survival, your mission is considered completed. Find a chance to return to the clan. There's no need to waste time here. The person you're waiting for has already reincarnated. Haven't you noticed that the love thread on your body has turned black?" Supreme Red Fox nodded slightly at the nonchalant voice. However, it continued, Since he's already reincarnated, what's the point of me returning? Your Majesty, forgive me for being so bold. I want to stay here and spend the rest of my life ending the karma of marriage that I've seen and heard. Interesting. That's not what you thought before. Did that human say something to you? Why are you so easily convinced by him? The eyes of the figure formed by leaves trembled slightly and narrowed. You're a great domain venerable of the Red Divine Fox clan. Do you want to save the souls of other clans in such a sinister world? When did you become so kind? I just think that since he's already reincarnated, I'll just continue to suffer from the love curse if I return to the clan. Even if I find his reincarnation, the love curse will still exist. Then what's the point of me returning to the clan? Supreme Red Fox said, I'd rather stay here to entertain my beasts. Ha, up to you, the figure said lightly. Since you don't plan to return, keep an eye on that human. If he's really gone, Nana will be heartbroken. Your Majesty, you wanted to cut off the love thread on him, right? Supreme Red Fox suddenly asked. That's right, the figure nodded. But if I cut off the love thread directly, it'll have a big impact on Nana. So I changed my strategy. I cut off all the other love threads. If I'm not wrong, he should have forgotten about the other females in his heart. He only has Nana in his heart. At this point, the figure stopped abruptly. It seemed that there was a blind spot. Wait, you said that he believed most of what you said about the love tribulation? What do you mean? Why would he believe in the love tribulation? He only has Nana as his love thread. Why should he believe in love? The figure stared at Crimson Fox Supremacy. I only asked you to remind him that he will encounter a great calamity in this world. Exalted Crimson Fox sighed and said, the threads of affection on his body haven't disappeared, not even a single one. There are quite a lot of them. Unsurprisingly, he hadn't forgotten about the other partners in his heart. Moreover, I really did discover a love tribulation from him. In fact, the great calamity you mentioned might very well be impossible. Leaves flew all over the sky. His tone was full of shock. But what I saw was real. Exalted Scarlet Fox said slowly, Your Majesty, you've miscalculated. Perhaps he had already expected such an encounter, so he had made preparations in advance. This human was full of secrets. You should know something. It's the origin wield divine ability. The figure gritted his teeth. The Crimson Fox Supremacy glanced at the fluttering leaves in surprise. This fellow actually cultivated the origin wield divine ability. I only cut off the threads of affection on the clone that was derived from his origin wield divine ability. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to hide from me. Damn it, this human, to think that I was kind enough to help him. Then what should we do now? Exalted Scarlet Fox Supremacy looked at the sky with an expression that said it had nothing to do with him. Let's see if he can survive this tribulation first. I'm so angry. No, I have to go back and reprimand Nana. Such a cunning human. No wonder this girl is so infatuated with him. Let's go. If his soul disappears, remember to tell me as soon as possible. Okay. The leaves fell and the dust settled. How interesting. Exalted Scarlet Fox Supremacy seemed to have thought of something. He wanted to laugh, but he became serious again and warned himself not to laugh. At this moment, Wang Feng left the Crimson Fox Supremacy's position and continued to move to the next position. However, after walking for a distance, suddenly, a few souls appeared in front of him and blocked his path. The one leading them was the Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor that cut the queue earlier. According to the Golden Lightning Leopard, this beast spirit was one of the 3 overlords in this area. It was a god-level existence when it was alive. There was no such beast god in Douluo. Then it could only be a god from another world. Why? Are you looking for trouble? Wang Feng cast a sidelong glance at these guys with solid souls and strong auras. No, the Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor, who was the leader, shook his head. Then why are you blocking my path? Wang Feng asked. I saw it, the Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor said. What did you see? Wang Feng was slightly taken aback. The axe light on the island and the monstrous demonic shadow of the demon god were killed by you. The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor coughed a few times. I saw it clearly. And then? Wang Feng nodded. Do you want to be hit by the axe too? Senior, you misunderstood me, the great flame golden tiger emperor said in a serious tone. I came here to ask you to do me a favor. I don't have time. Wang Feng waved his hand. If you don't have anything to say, get out of my way. Senior, if you help me with this, I'll definitely repay you in my next life, the great flame golden tiger emperor pleaded. I don't care. Also, this condition of repayment is too outdated. I'm not interested. Senior, why are you willing to help that weak little leopard for free, but you won't help us even once? The great flame golden tiger emperor said with a disappointed expression. Are only the weak worthy of being helped? Can't a powerhouse like me be helped? What kind of logic is this? I'm familiar with him. We come from the same world. We are from the same hometown, so I'm interested in helping him, Wang Feng said casually. As for you, I'm not familiar with you. Why should I help you? We'll be familiar with each other if I help you a little, the great flame golden tiger emperor said shamelessly. Wang Feng looked at him strangely. You little tiger, you were a god when you were alive. How could you die without any dignity? You're begging me for help, but I'm not helping. That's enough. Can't you leave yourself some dignity? Yes, I'm already dead. Why should I care about dignity? Senior, don't you think so? The great flame golden tiger emperor said disapprovingly. That made sense. What if I refuse to help you? Wang Feng said. Then I have no choice but to follow you. Senior, I'm guessing that you will go somewhere near Luo Yun Island. That place is also suppressing the devil soul of a devil god. The great flame golden tiger emperor thought for a while and said, the humans of Luo Yun Island worship martial arts. Their soul battle chi soars to the sky, and they are all warlike. Coincidentally, I had killed many of these martial artists when I was alive. They hated me very much because before the invasion of the Dark Devil world, I was the one who had led the beast race to invade their world. Unfortunately, the Dark Devil world had appeared midway and destroyed us and the humans. However, I should be in the top 3 of the list of hatred in the hearts of these humans. If they see me, they will definitely think that you are with me. At that time, you will be in trouble. Then I'll kill you now. Wang Feng took out the pangu axe and said, this way, there won't be any trouble. Ha! Senior, do you think I'm that stupid? Since I've told you about this, I will definitely take precautions. The great flame golden tiger emperor smiled confidently. Before I came, I already sent my demonic beasts to Luo Yun Island. I also told them that my master, you will be going to Luo Yun Island and ask these human souls to get out of Luo Yun Island as soon as possible. Otherwise, I will let their souls fade away. In this way, even if you go to Luo Yun Island, there will be a lot of trouble. There is no way to explain it. I'm sorry, Senior. In order to get you to help me, I can only use such a despicable method. I will first tie you to me. As long as you help me, I can guarantee that you will not have any trouble when you go to Luo Yun Island. The great flame golden tiger emperor looked at Wang Feng with a serious face. It's okay. I don't care. Wang Feng still waved his hand. Any trouble in front of me is just a matter of my axe. The great flame golden tiger emperor was slightly stunned. He looked at Wang Feng in confusion. He felt that the other party was like an iron plate without any gaps. Even air could not get through. Wang Feng patted the great flame golden tiger emperor's shoulder and walked over leisurely. The great flame golden tiger emperor clenched his tiger paws and followed. He did not believe it. Chapter 1640. The sea in the east was getting further and further away from the Nether River waterfall. However, there seemed to be no end to it. The gradually changing sky turned from blue to gray as Wang Feng moved forward. The sea was still calm without any waves. This scene gave people the feeling that it was dead and still. Of course, Wang Feng was used to this scene and was not surprised. About a day later, waves suddenly appeared on the surface of the sea. This surprised Wang Feng. It also made him realize that he should be arriving soon. As Wang Feng expected, when the waves on the sea became bigger and bigger, a group of small islands that looked like mountains appeared in Wang Feng's sight. The center of the waves came from the group of small islands. It seemed that there was some kind of vibration on one of the small islands, causing circles of waves to spread out infinitely. Very rich soul energy. Wang Feng looked into the distance. The islands in the distance were the places with the richest soul energy among the few places he had seen. This was actually quite abnormal because the area outside the Nether River waterfall was very thin. Even if there were a few places with rich soul energy, it would not be here. Stop! Before he got close, he saw several soul shadows coming over on the waves. At the same time, there was a stern shout. Wang Feng paused and looked at the people who came. He sensed a rather powerful blood chi and soul will. This kind of powerful blood chi and soul will must be from a person who had extremely powerful physical strength and will when they were alive. Even after they died, their souls were stained with some powerful blood chi and soul will. Of course, this kind of strength was still much inferior to those soul demons. However, as a human soul, it was already very good. The great flaming golden emperor tiger, who had been coming up behind, also stopped. It seemed that it was time to witness it. It knew that these martial artists were very stubborn. Once they decided on something, they would not change their minds easily. In front of him, there were 3 tall and imposing human souls coming over on the waves. It was difficult to feel this kind of aura from the form of a soul. It was obviously different from those extraordinary immortal cultivators. No souls are welcome here. Please go back. The man in the lead stepped forward and looked at Wang Feng coldly. The hostility in his eyes was extremely strong. Wang Feng thought for a few seconds and looked at the island in the distance. He had already sensed the demonic will of the demonic god of desolation. Why not? Wang Feng asked. No soul can enter? Wang Feng frowned. Was he that antisocial? Could it be because of the rich soul energy in this place? Those who are not of the same race as us must have different intentions. Since you've joined these demon beasts, you're no different from those soul demons in our eyes. The man in the lead closed his eyes. You're already dead. What's the point of fussing over this? Wang Feng could not help but ask curiously. They're just souls. Be it humans or beasts, all of you were chased here for the sole purpose of entering the reincarnation, well, to be reincarnated. To put it bluntly, you are all fodder in the eyes of those soul demons. You should have settled your grudges before you died. Now that you can't be reincarnated, what's the point of haggling over these things? My body may be dead, but my will remains. The man shook his head. You don't understand. You're not a warrior from our world, so you won't understand the hatred between our world and these demonic beasts. Anyway, since you're a human, you can leave. Wang Feng couldn't refute that. It was true that the humans of each world had different encounters. He couldn't empathize with them. Yes, master, let's leave. The great flame golden tiger emperor stepped forward and said respectfully, these humans don't know what's good for them. You want to help them subdue the demon god on St. Marshall Island and give them peace. Since they don't know what's good for them, let's not meddle in their business. Wang Feng gave the tiger a sidelong glance. Great flame, golden tiger emperor. The man in the lead shouted sternly. We've already seen through your insignificant tricks. This human isn't your master at all. He has nothing to do with you. If you had a master, you would have sent him over. How can we not know? Although we don't know why you're acting like this in front of him, there's no way we'll let you in. I advise you to give up as soon as possible. Wang Feng looked at the man in surprise. Since you've seen through my insignificant tricks, you should know that he has nothing to do with me. Wang Feng asked curiously, why don't you let me in? Humph, since the great flame golden tiger emperor is acting like this, it's obvious that he wants to build a relationship with you. To us, humans who are related to demonic beasts aren't good. The man shook his head and said, besides, I've said that souls that aren't from our clan can't enter. Wang Feng looked back at the great flame golden tiger emperor and said, is the thing you want me to help you get on the island? The great flame golden tiger emperor was stunned. It seemed that he didn't expect Wang Feng to see through it so quickly. That's why you're using this method. You seem to want to get on the same side as me, but in fact, whether I refuse you or not, as long as you follow me and instigate these human souls to fight, you can take the opportunity to get on the island. Wang Feng continued, not a bad method. It's a smart one. Senior, you're really sharp. I can't even hide this from you. The great flame golden tiger emperor said bluntly, yes, I do want to get on the island. However, with my strength, they'll definitely stop me. Senior, you have to get on the island. You took that little leopard and tried all means to get on our island. It's not to see Red Fox Supreme, but for that demon god. Since you're here, you'll definitely try your best to get on the island. The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor's analysis was right. Wang Feng nodded. Although this guy had only met him once in the team at the foot of the mountain, he knew that he could use this method. However, to be able to analyze all of this and make use of the situation, he still had some demeanor of a leader. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you directly? Wang Feng asked. I'm afraid, but as long as you're not one of these humans. The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor pointed at the man and said, You and I have no enmity. You won't kill me. Besides, if you're a cruel and merciless person, you wouldn't have used the back of the axe to send the three-headed dragon snake flying. Instead, you would have used the blade of the axe to kill it. Clap, clap, clap. Wang Feng applauded. The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor was very observant. He had used the back of the axe to send the three-headed dragon snake that had bullied the golden lightning leopard flying. He didn't kill it directly. He was a beast. Why did you come to the island? Wang Feng asked. Because of love. The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor said. Wang Feng was speechless. Shameless beast. At this time, the man said angrily, Who loves you? You're a shameless beast. How can you be a beast emperor? You're shameless. Our Wu god showed mercy in the past because he didn't want those beasts to go crazy after you died. That's why he spared your life. You're still thinking too highly of yourself. How ridiculous. What do you know? The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor crossed his arms and looked down at the man in front of him. His tiger face was full of contempt. You said that Senior isn't a human from your world and doesn't understand the enmity between you and us beasts. You're not Wu god, and you're not me either. How do you know how she and I feel? You humans always have one set of standards for others and another set of standards for yourself. The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor smiled disdainfully. Wang Feng nodded. Double standards were inseparable from any world. Chapter 1641. I don't understand, the man said angrily. No soul is allowed to enter the St. Martial Island. This order was given by Martial Godyu. You say I don't understand? Martial Godyu has made it so obvious, and you say I, Wu Ju Yun, don't understand? Child, do you have a wife? The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor asked. No, it's none of your business. The man was stunned at first. Then he said coldly, Look, you really don't have one. The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor sneered. She doesn't let me enter the island, so it means I'm not in her heart? If you have the ability, ask her to come out and see me. You're really inexperienced. As a man, you don't even understand a woman's mind. Serves him right for not having a wife. He's still a bachelor even after he dies. The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor's words were sharp. This made Wang Feng admire him a little. He didn't expect this beast emperor to have a relationship with a human. TSK, as expected, in any world, the love between a human and a beast exists. Seeing a beast, thinking of the beast, Wang Feng couldn't help but think of Qing Qing and the others. He didn't know how the situation in the Douluo world was now. However, judging from the situation of the little leopard, it should be good. That's enough. Wang Feng waved his hand. After understanding the whole story, Wang Feng didn't plan to continue. The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor was delighted, knowing that this senior was going to directly take action. Then, he heard Wang Feng say, You can let me in. Just let me go in alone. As for this tiger, since the Wu god on your island doesn't want him to go in, why don't you let him in? But I'm still a human, and we're all the same. It shouldn't be a problem for you to let me in, right? The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor was speechless. No, the man named Wu Juyun said decisively. Seeing this, Wang Feng was too lazy to say anything more, and the Pangu axe appeared in his hand. Without saying a word, he shook the back of the axe lightly. In an instant, the sea water surged, and a huge force shook the space from the back of the axe, condensing into a powerful force that directly sent the two companions beside the man flying. Good, good, good. The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor behind him was overjoyed. I've been unhappy with these humans for a long time. Senior's demeanor is really the model of our generation. You, Wang Feng turned around and looked at the great flame, golden tiger emperor. Stay here, you're not allowed to enter. Otherwise, Wang Feng weighed the Pangu axe in his hand. The threat was obvious. The great flame, golden tiger emperor's face stiffened. Senior, you don't have to go that far, right? Why not? Said Wang Feng. If martial God you didn't let you in, why would you go in? If you want to go in, then fight your way in. Borrowing my strength to enter, what kind of hero are you? If I were martial God you, I would be disappointed in you. She might be waiting for you to fight your way in to see her. What's the meaning of following me in with such a method? The great flame golden tiger emperor's huge body suddenly shook, as if he had just woken up from a dream. He looked at Wang Feng. Senior, you're really amazing. I understand now. It suddenly realized. As long as you understand. Wang Feng continued flying forward. It was just that the great flame golden tiger emperor wanted to use him to enter the island. Wang Feng was not so easy to deal with. Naturally, he would not fulfill his wish. After the interlude, Wang Feng arrived at the center of the archipelago in a short while. However, the archipelago was heavily guarded. Along the way, Wang Feng had already defeated several groups of human souls like Wu Zhuyan. Although these human souls were powerful, their actual combat strength was not very strong. They were good at martial arts and physical strength, but were not very good at soul and spirit. Now that their physical bodies had been destroyed, only their souls were left, and their combat strength was very low. They were much weaker than the immortal cultivators. The immortal cultivators on Yunlai Island were more powerful after all. Of course, most of them were like that, but a small number of them were very good at soul attacks. Moreover, because of the rich soul energy in this place, it meant that their souls could survive longer. The Saint Martial Island was where one of the demonic thoughts of the demon god of desolation was suppressed. The island was not very high. As far as the eye could see, there was only one statue on the island, which was very eye-catching. That's a statue that originally existed on this island. It's been there since we came here. At this moment, a voice sounded from afar. Above the island, a total of 5 figures flew down from the sky. The person who spoke was a woman. She looked ordinary, but there was an indescribable elegance and charm about her. In her soul form, her hair was tied up with a purple phoenix feather, which was very eye-catching. The souls of these 5 figures were very special. Their souls were stained with blood, and it was not an exaggeration to say that they were very powerful. In the depths of their souls, there was a round core the size of a millstone, which emitted a powerful soul energy. You are Yuwushin? Wang Feng looked at the woman. Among the 5 people, this woman was obviously the leader. Her soul energy was also the strongest. Are you here for that statue? She nodded slightly, her voice calm. That's right. Wang Feng nodded. The statue suppressed the demonic thoughts of the demon god of desolation. We can't let you destroy this statue, Yu Wuxian said slowly. She knew why Wang Feng was here. Oh, you should understand, right? Wang Feng looked at them in surprise. This statue suppresses the demonic thoughts of a demon god. It is a ticking time bomb for you. I have to destroy this statue and take it away. You don't want me to destroy it? Are you worried that I can't do it? Would they be in the same situation as the cultivators on Cloud Coming Island? Yu Wuxian shook her head and said, Do you know why we don't let other humans in? Why? When we first came to this island, we found that the soul energy here was denser than other places. We thought it would help our souls survive longer, so we settled down here, Yu Wuxian said in a low voice. But we didn't expect things to be as simple as we thought. As you said, the statue does suppress the demonic thoughts of a demon god. We won't forget the demon god of Dark Demon World. At first, we thought that since we were suppressed, we just had to keep an eye on it. Also, as time went by, the demonic thoughts inside the statue grew weaker. Have you noticed? She paused for a moment. Wang Feng nodded. This demonic thoughts was much weaker than the ones before. It was strange. His demonic thoughts are getting weaker. Of course we're happy, Yu Wuxian continued. Not long ago, we estimated that with the strength of the 5 of us, we would enter the statue and destroy the demonic thoughts. Unfortunately, at this time, the human souls on our island are disappearing in large batches. It turns out that the demon god forcibly weakened his own soul energy. He almost burned his own demonic thoughts. For this reason, he became much weaker. However, the burning soul energy spread to the island and made the island rich in soul energy. Our souls were gradually filled with the soul energy we absorbed. However, we didn't expect him to use a powerful evil art on the soul energy. His demonic thoughts were connected to the souls of all the humans who absorbed the soul energy. Do you know what this means? Yu Wuxian looked at Wang Feng. I don't know if you can destroy the demonic thoughts, but even if you can, the island will be destroyed. All the human souls on our island will quickly disappear. That's why we stopped outsiders from entering this island. We didn't want them to absorb the soul energy here and be controlled by it. The humans in other places don't know this secret either. But we can't let you destroy the demonic thoughts, because our souls will all disappear. Wang Feng was silent for a long time after hearing this, then slowly said, "What a demon god of desolate sea." Chapter 1642. As a demon god. Demon god Huang Hai was definitely the most cunning and cautious demon god Wang Feng had ever seen. Back in the Soul Demon Sacred City, this bastard had used his hand to eliminate his two allies and set up the Black Tide. Almost every step was difficult to deal with. Even Wang Feng guessed that he was in the well of reincarnation and came here. He was sealed, but he was still very cunning. Although he had destroyed 4 of his demon wills in just a few days, none of them were easy to deal with. There were even 2 times when this guy almost escaped from him. And this time, demon god Huang Hai's method was even more ruthless. It would be difficult for Wang Feng to not care about the human souls and directly split the statue and take away the demon god Huang Hai's demon wills. He had no grudges with the human souls on the island. Wang Feng could not let them die with the demon god Huang Hai's demon wills. It was clear that demonic god Desolate Sea had prepared this trump card specially for him. He had put himself in a dilemma. Did he communicate with you? Wang Feng asked. Yes. Yu Wuxian nodded slightly. When we entered the statue and wanted to destroy him together, he threatened us. Wang Feng looked at them. He could not see any difference from the outside. Even if he sensed, he could not sense anything strange. You absorbed the soul energy from his self-immolation. Wang Feng frowned slightly. The self-immolation of a demon god's soul energy was very different from ordinary soul energy. After he used the Pangu axe to destroy the demon god Huang Hai's demon wills, he would usually absorb them into the primordial origin and purify them into pure soul energy before transferring them to the Pangu axe martial soul. Mainly because Wang Feng himself was wary that demon god Huang Hai would play tricks in his demon wills. Therefore, he used the primordial origin to calculate and purify it. After confirming that there were no problems, he could use it. He was cautious enough. He knew that demon god Huang Hai was extremely cunning and might do something to his demon wills. He might even use the souls to break the seal. Wang Feng thought about it. However, these humans were not him. Their understanding of the Fiend Celestials was too little. Not to mention an extremely cunning demon god like Desolate Sea. That's right. We couldn't sense it at all. We fell for it unknowingly. Martial God, you said in a low voice, we have a crystal core in the depths of our souls. This crystal core is the result of absorbing the soul energy. It has already merged with our souls. Therefore, no changes could be seen. But this crystal core is controlled by the devil god. If he wants to detonate it, our souls will immediately disappear. Wang Feng closed his eyes and sensed the soul energy in this area. Then, he absorbed it into his soul. After entering his soul, he couldn't find any clues about this soul energy. But as soon as he came into contact with the primordial source, it would immediately issue a warning. There was indeed a wisp of origin aura in this soul energy that had already taken shape. No wonder it's the origin. Could this be the source of the demonic god of the Desolate Sea? His demonic soul had burned itself, and then infused the source into his soul energy. It's impossible for these human souls to detect it. Wang Feng sensed. It wasn't an evil technique like martial god you had said. If it was an evil technique, Wang Feng could use the primordial source to deduce it easily. But even he didn't notice anything strange at first, which meant that it wasn't an evil technique at all. It was an ability of the origin. Wang Feng guessed. This should be a special kind of origin related to the soul. It could split one's soul into countless wisps of soul energy through the origin and dissipate in the world. As long as these wisps of soul energy could be gathered one day, it meant that his soul could reappear in the world. It was a very powerful origin. Wang Feng didn't think the desolate sea demon god was very strong in terms of combat strength. His origins seemed to be the same. It was very cautious, and the crystal cores in the souls of martial god Yu and the others were a symbol. If one day, a wisp of the desolate sea demon god's consciousness was born in the soul crystal cores they absorbed, martial god Yu and the others would slowly die, and then these soul crystal cores would merge. They would form the incomplete demonic soul of the desolate sea demon god. It was equivalent to him escaping the seal of the Lord of Hell. But this time would be very long. Even so, it was already very impressive. That was the seal of the Lord of Hell. As he was thinking, the wisp of soul energy that Wang Feng absorbed suddenly turned into the phantom of the desolate sea demon god in Wang Feng's sea of consciousness. Human, if you have the courage to destroy these human souls, I will submit to you. A ghostly voice slowly rang out, carrying a faint smile. What is this origin of yours? Wang Feng asked. Oh, you can tell? There's no harm in telling. The phantom of the desolate sea demon god laughed a few times and then slowly disappeared. This is something I comprehended. It's called origin restoration. This origin has merged with my demonic soul. As long as the origin is not destroyed, my demonic soul will eventually be reborn. With that, his figure slowly disappeared. The wisp of soul energy that Wang Feng absorbed also gradually disappeared. Obviously, the demonic consciousness in the statue already knew that Wang Feng was here. The origin of the desolate sea demon god was completely used to save his life. The origin that he comprehended was used to save his life. One could imagine how afraid the desolate sea demon god was of death. Of course, from another point of view, this guy was just too cautious. The desolate sea demon god had already said the solution. As long as he destroyed all these human souls and absorbed the remaining soul energy into the primordial origin, the demonic consciousness would disappear. The demonic consciousness would then disappear. Because these human souls already had a soul crystal in them, it meant that the seed of the origin restoration had already been planted. These soul crystal nuclei had fused with their souls. Only by destroying all of them, the seed of the origin could not be destroyed. The demonic consciousness of the desolate sea demon god would really be preserved and wait for a certain moment to awaken. The desolate sea demon god is burning his boats. He is burning his demonic soul and disintegrating his origin. He is trying to fight his way out of a hopeless situation. Wang Fengxin was slightly shocked. It could be said that the desolate sea demon god's actions were similar to how he self-detonated to save himself and sent his soul into this place. They were both trying to fight his way out of a hopeless situation. Thinking of this, Wang Feng actually felt like he had found a confidant. Actually, we know. Seeing Wang Feng remain silent, martial god, he suddenly said, if this continues and the soul crystal core is still in our souls, we will die sooner or later. My soul can disappear. Martial god, you looked at his companions around him. They can too. But we can't make the decision for the millions of human souls on the St. Martial Island. Their souls are not as strong as ours. They may not be able to live for long, but once their souls disappear, they will truly disappear. Even if we don't ask for reincarnation, we can't even take away the right to live. Martial god, you said this calmly, as if he was talking about something normal. Wang Feng felt a sense of helplessness. Although he had seen through the mortal world, he could not escape the shackles of the mortal world. Even if we are just souls and no longer exist in reality, we still have the right to live. But we all have the right to live and reincarnate. Wang Feng nodded slightly. In the heavenly Tao reincarnation, the soul was not at the level of life, but it was one of the origins of life. It was a symbol of intelligent life. If he destroyed so many human souls, Wang Feng might not be affected by any heavenly punishment, but he would be affected by the karma of the universe. For example, the curse on the red fox supremacy was because he could not understand the yin and yang of the universe, but he wanted to interfere with the karma of the universe. That was why he was cursed. Chapter 1643. I have an idea. Wang Feng said, I need to try. You don't know how the demon god did it, but I do. An idea? Yu Wuxian was slightly surprised. He looked at the other four and asked, What is it? First, you have to let the great flame Golden Tiger Emperor in. Wang Feng said. Yu Wuxian was surprised again. The other four were silent. They were waiting for Yu Wuxian's opinion. Let him in. After a while, Yu Wuxian shouted. He seemed to be transmitting his voice. But before he could say anything, following a rumbling sound, one human soul after another flew over from afar. Yua, I'm coming. A roar came from afar. A question mark appeared in Wang Feng's mind, and then he understood. Did this tiger really believe my words and fight its way in? Wang Fengxin thought. Wang Feng already knew about the great flame Golden Tiger Emperor when he cut the queue to get onto the island. On the outside, he looked like a big shot, but in reality, he was half a coward. He looked tough, and his words were tough, but his actions were cowardly. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made way for him back then and fought with him. He didn't think he would be able to trick him into coming in. Yu Wuxian heard the voice, and his expression froze. He looked in front of him in surprise. That was the shadow of a beast that was charging towards them. After a while, the great flame Golden Tiger Emperor rushed in front of them in high spirits. What are you doing? Yu Wuxian looked at the souls that were sent flying by the great flame Golden Tiger Emperor and asked, I'm coming in to see you. The great flame Golden Tiger Emperor said quickly. Didn't I tell you not to come in? Yu Wuxian frowned and asked. The great flame Golden Tiger Emperor's expression changed slightly. Why did it feel different from what the senior said? She didn't look happy. He looked at Wang Feng on the other side. Wang Feng looked at the statue on the island. He didn't see it. He didn't think this guy would be tricked into coming in. The great flame Golden Tiger Emperor rolled his eyes and said, I don't care. I'm coming in to see you. Martial God, you was speechless. She glanced at the grand flame Golden Tiger Emperor expressionlessly and laughed. I didn't expect you to have the guts to do such a thing. I've really underestimated you, true flame tiger. Her smile looked very kind, but it was actually a little cold. That's fine. Just keep your eyes open in the future, the great flame Golden Tiger Emperor said proudly. It seemed that the senior was right. He thought, Martial God, you was speechless. Wang Feng could not help but cast a sidelong glance at the great flame Golden Tiger Emperor. He was a kindred spirit and a role model for his generation. He had the same demeanor as I did back then. Since you're here, Martial God, you glanced at the great flame Golden Tiger Emperor expressionlessly, then turned to Wang Feng. What do you plan to do? Wang Feng nodded slightly and walked over, looking at the great flame Golden Tiger Emperor. Senior, look, Yur is smiling at me. She's really satisfied with what I've done, the great flame Golden Tiger Emperor said with a smile. You're right. I didn't expect you to understand women so well. Truly amazing. To be honest, I feel that human women are too difficult to understand. Since you're so experienced, you must have experienced this many times, right? Then you must have many female confidants around you. Wang Feng's eyelids twitched. This tiger, if you say he's stupid, he seems to be quite stupid. But if you say he's smart, he's actually a little smart. But on second thought, he's a beast after all. He doesn't understand human nature. So his personality can't be compared to humans. Wang Feng patted the great flame Golden Tiger Emperor's shoulder and told him what happened. After listening, the great flame Golden Tiger Emperor fell silent. After a while, he lowered his voice and said in a very joyful voice, You're right. So the reason why you didn't let me in is because she didn't want me to absorb the soul energy and be controlled by the demon god? It's not because she doesn't want to see me? Wang Feng glanced at him in surprise, then glanced at Yu Wu Shun and nodded. The focus of humans and beasts was indeed different. Great, great. The great flame golden tiger emperor was even happier. Senior, look, she really has me in her heart. It should be true love. Wang Fengxin said. Can you stop shouting? Martial God, you couldn't help but yell. Do you think I can't hear you? Yulingxia, how dare you yell at me? The great flame golden tiger emperor suddenly became tough. Why are you hiding this from me? Do you know how I've been through these days? So what if I'm controlled by the demon god? If you're gone, do you think I'll drag out an ignoble existence? Martial God, you was slightly startled. He probably didn't expect this guy to be so tough, but he immediately looked at the great flame golden tiger emperor with a hint of tenderness. The great flame golden tiger emperor quickly turned his head and looked at Wang Feng. He said loudly, Senior, you just told me that you have a way to break the demon god's control, and you only need my help. Tell me, how can I help you? It's simple. Wang Feng didn't want to expose the guy's cowardice. He smiled and said, Since you don't want to drag out an ignoble existence, it's good that you're here. You can use your soul to absorb the soul energy here and quickly condense a soul crystal core. Then, you can be controlled by the demon god. The great flame golden tiger emperor looked at Wang Feng with a head full of question marks. What did he mean? Isn't it good to fulfill your wish? Wang Feng said with a faint smile. Martial God, you frowned. He couldn't help but have a feeling that this guy might be in cahoots with the demon god. Senior, you're not in cahoots with the demon god, are you? Impossible. The great flame golden tiger emperor simply said what was on his mind. I believe that you're lying to me. No, I'm not lying to you. Wang Feng said solemnly. I need to see the condensation process of the soul crystal core to find a way to break it. The soul crystal core isn't an ordinary evil art like you think it is. It's the power of the origin. You may have touched the origin in your previous life, but it's far from enough. I'm different. The demon god's origin doesn't work on me, so I can't condense this kind of soul crystal core. Your soul is strong, and your absorption speed is fast, which means that the condensation speed is also fast. The condensation process of the soul crystal core will be much faster. It won't take too much of my time. Also, there's no human soul that hasn't condensed a soul crystal core in this place. If you don't agree, you can leave now. You won't be disturbed by this kind of soul energy for too long. If you agree, then let's begin. Wang Feng said slowly and looked at the great flame golden tiger emperor. The great flame golden tiger emperor was slightly stunned. Even martial God Yu was stunned. However, Wang Feng wasn't lying. He planned to use the primordial chaos origin to analyze the demon god's origin. Although the primordial chaos origin could analyze the origin, the energy of the origin was too complex and powerful. Under normal circumstances, it would take a long time for the primordial chaos origin to analyze it. It would take at least a few months. Wang Feng didn't know how much time would pass in the real world, so he didn't want to waste any time. However, if one had a sufficient understanding of this kind of origin in advance, then the deduction and analysis would be much, much faster. If he could observe the changes in the origin when the soul crystal core was condensed, Wang Feng was confident that he could complete the analysis in a day or two. The demon god of Huanghai had broken down his origin and merged it with the soul energy of the demon god's self-immolation. So, little tiger, are you willing? Wang Feng looked at the tiger with a smile. Chapter 1644. There were always choices in life. At this moment, losing to the great flame golden tiger emperor was also a choice. But he only glanced at Yu Wuxian and immediately shouted, I am willing. Wang Feng smiled and nodded. Yu Wuxian was expressionless. Then let's start on the shore of the island, said Wang Feng. Don't waste a second. The great flame golden tiger emperor gritted his teeth and landed on the shore. He slightly pushed his tiger paws forward and started to absorb soul energy in a strange posture. I didn't expect this great flame golden tiger emperor to be willing to do this. An old man next to martial god Yu sighed. Back then, when he led the army of beasts to attack us humans, he had a blood feud with us. I never thought that he would be willing to do such a thing for us after his death. These beasts are not inferior to us in intelligence. They also have emotions. Another middle-aged man glanced at Yuwushin. But this involves the power of the demon god's origin. Is it so easy to solve? The old man bowed slightly to Wang Feng. Although he was suspicious, his eyes looked more like he was asking for an explanation. Wang Feng didn't explain anything, because it didn't mean much. They wouldn't understand, even if he explained now. As for this great flame golden tiger emperor, a triangular origin model appeared in Wang Feng's eyes and moved slightly. The primordial chaos origin flew directly above the great flame golden tiger emperor and began to analyze. Which world are you from? Wang Feng asked casually. Kanglin's star, the old man replied. He hadn't heard of it, but it seemed to have gathered many small worlds. It wasn't on the Dark Demon Realm's list of sacred realms. How was the battle with the Dark Demon Realm? Wang Feng pondered for a moment and asked. They all fell silent. Perhaps the question was a bit heavy. Wang Feng waved his hand slightly, indicating that they didn't need to say anything. Kanglin's star has a population of tens of billions. At first, the Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor attacked from the Beast King star. However, the battle with Kanglin star only lasted for a few years. Both sides were tied. No one had the upper hand. Later, in a historical war, at least thousands of beast emperors gathered and fought against the human martial gods of the same number. That was when the Dark Demon Realm appeared and wiped out all the high-level combatants on both sides. Martial god, you said simply. It was that battle that destroyed the Kanglin star and the Beast King star. Most of the peak combatants from both sides had fallen. A small number of them were still alive, and some of them had chosen to go to the Dark Devil world. Our batch has already fallen. How long have you been here? Wang Feng asked. This question caused them to be at a loss. It was as if he couldn't even count the days. It's been a long time. After a long time, martial god, you said slowly, even after coming to this world, we've been fighting against the devil souls. Many human souls have been lost. What's left is the last soul seed of the Kanglin star. However, after you enter the reincarnation well, it doesn't matter whether you're still Kanglin planet's people or not. Wang Feng asked a question that made them feel slightly suffocated. Then, he looked at the Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor. The primordial chaos origin emitted strands of origin energy. They were in the shape of threads, circling around the Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor. Each thread seemed to contain the changes of a world, reflecting the flowing light and shadows of the galaxy. Even so, it's still better than disappearing and turning into pure soul energy to nourish this world. Martial god, you said. Nutrients. Wang Feng smiled. That's an interesting way of putting it. Don't you see? We souls basically exist to maintain the abundance of souls in this world. Martial god Yu's face was cold. He was unwilling to give up. It's nothing more than nourishing these devil souls. They'll absorb our nourishment and enter the reincarnation cycle. Their souls will still be at the same level in their next life, and their potential will be very good. This method is the same as how we humans raise those animals with fodder. Wang Feng clapped his hands. For them to have such awareness, it meant that they were fully aware of their situation. It was just like the cultivators on Yunlai Island. They probably knew it too. Therefore, even if they knew that demon god Huang Hai was probably lying to them, they still chose to serve him. They still wanted to enter the reincarnation cycle, not become nourishment for this world. After chatting for a while, the primordial chaos origin shook slightly. A huge amount of information poured into Wang Feng's mind. Then, an image formed by countless soul energies appeared in his sea of consciousness. It looked like a galaxy. It started to gather slowly and finally condensed into one point. With the Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor as a specimen, the analysis will be very fast. Wang Feng nodded. He chatted with Martial God Yu for a while. By the way, the Kanglin star is related to those angels. We belong to the same universe. Martial God Yu suddenly said. The Angel Nebula is also widely known on the Kanglin star. After the Dark Demon Realm invaded our planet, we died in that battle, but before we died, the vanguard of the angel army arrived. Maybe the Kanglin star hasn't fallen into the dark demon realm's clutches yet. She hesitated and said with uncertainty, "If we haven't completely fallen, we might be reincarnated as humans on the Kanglin star." This was probably the hope of the deepest part of her heart. Is that so? Wang Feng was surprised. The new angel king, Tian Xiu Wang, took the throne. He crossed half the universe and came to the North Star system where we are. After establishing the Dark Order, she created the Light and Dark Universe Alliance and called all the life forms in the universe to join. Kanglin Star was one of the first planets to join. Martial God, you recalled. Good heavens! Is Xiao Shui so powerful? Wang Fengxin said. She was going to surpass her mother. But it's not possible. Martial God, you shook his head and said, "We felt that Tian Xiu Wang's ideas coincided with ours, so we joined. However, the universe we are in is not small. How can all the life forms join? It's already good enough that 10% of them joined. This information is very important to me. Thank you for telling me." Wang Fengxin felt more confident. Your soul still has the aura of an angel. I think you must have stayed on the Sky Heart Island, so I think you might have some connection with them. Martial God, you nodded. If you can really unlock the soul crystal, we will be indebted to you. To put it bluntly, we may have to repay you in the next life. Wang Feng smiled but didn't answer. Chapter 1645. Calculating the time, more than half a day had passed. Many tiny particles of soul energy had formed in the great flame golden tiger emperor's soul. The origin of primordial chaos had deduced that the origin of Huang Hai's origin of origin was very unique. Yuan was the beginning. From the beginning, the chaos began to change. Wang Feng vaguely remembered that the origin of demon god Han He, who was once an ally of the demon god of Huang Hai, was the origin of chaos. However, the origin of chaos merged everything into the chaos. The origin of origin was the opposite. It returned everything to the chaos and started anew. The deduction was very fast. By the second day, when the soul particles in the great flame golden tiger emperor's soul had almost gathered together, Wang Feng had basically understood it. With the reference system, it was like using the origin of primordial chaos to observe the evolution of the origin of origin. His soul crystal core is almost formed. Martial God, you couldn't help but whisper. Yes, it's almost formed. Wang Feng nodded. Do you have a way to break it? Martial God, you wanted to stop him. Once the soul crystal core was formed, it meant that the demon god had complete control over it. Not yet. Wang Feng glanced at her. The origin of origin was very special. It was formed slowly from the beginning with the chaos. It was like merging with their souls and slowly forming the soul crystal core. When it reached a certain level, the soul crystal core would give birth to the consciousness of the demon god of Huang Hai. It was the same process as the chaos world. Therefore, the soul crystal core could not be broken. To be precise, it could not be broken by any origin of origin, let alone force it open. Otherwise, the souls of the humans would explode or disappear. Then, Martial God, you was stunned. It's his own choice. Why? Do you want to stop him? Wang Feng was curious. He's not human. He shouldn't be involved. Martial God, you lowered his head. Wang Feng smiled. The feather Martial God's love for the flaming golden tiger emperor was probably true. The origin of primordial chaos had not given him a clear way to break the soul crystal core. To be precise, he couldn't give him a way to break the soul crystal core with his current condition. Wang Feng looked at the statue on the island, as if he could see the shadow of the demon god of the desolate sea looking at him calmly, as if saying, "It's useless. Either you kill all these humans or give up." Wang Feng turned around and continued to look at the great flame golden tiger emperor. He didn't tell it to stop, so the little tiger kept absorbing the soul energy. Wang Feng waited until the great flame golden tiger emperor had formed a soul crystal before he spoke. That's enough. The great flame golden tiger emperor immediately opened his eyes and looked at Wang Feng excitedly. Senior, how is it? Have you found a way to break it? Wang Feng remained silent. He withdrew the primordial chaos origin. Then, he opened his palm and condensed the Panga axe. The back of the axe flashed and turned into an ancient bell. "Go!" Wang Feng shouted. The bell of primal chaos flew out and hovered above the island. In an instant, the countless human souls here felt their souls tremble, and they involuntarily prostrated themselves towards the ancient bell. Even Yu Wushun and the others were astonished. They had the impression that their souls were being oppressed, as if they weren't real anymore. Wang Feng took out the bell for no other reason than to suppress their soul crystal. He didn't want to give the demon god of Huang Hai a chance to make a move. He wanted to detonate it. He wouldn't let any accidents happen. "Then, listen to me," Wang Feng said slowly. "This method may be beyond your imagination, but this is the only possibility." Yu Wushun and the others were stunned. "I'll assimilate my soul and the primordial chaos origin into countless soul energy." Wang Feng's eyes flashed. "Take this opportunity to absorb the soul energy and condense another soul crystal. At the same time, use this soul crystal to devour the soul crystal that contains the consciousness of the demon god of Huang Hai. This way, his origin will be destroyed. Only this method can completely break the soul crystal. Otherwise, I'll have to kill you." That's right, since they couldn't break the origin returning. In that case, there was only one way, and that was to fuse with the origin returning method. Wang Feng could simulate the operation of this origin with the primordial chaos origin and use the same method. Simply put, it was to use one's own origin to break the origin returning. Hearing his words, Yu Wushun and the others took a deep breath. Wasn't this the demon god's method? "Then what will you do?" Yu Wushun and the others were a little dazed. Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor was also dumbfounded. This senior was too good, wasn't he? It had to be said that this method was really unconstrained. It even had a strange feeling of pulling chestnuts out of the fire. This was the only method. Moreover, even the dying Golden Tiger Emperor could understand it. However, this senior needed to convert his own soul and the origin returning into countless soul energy. Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor wondered if this was the human ancestor of the Kanglan Star. How could he do this? Why was he so good to these human souls? It's simple. Have you forgotten how the demon god planned to survive with this origin? Wang Feng smiled. "Gather your soul crystals together, and my soul and origin will reappear. It'll be even stronger. Since I'm the one who devoured his soul energy, it'll be even faster. If this method is to succeed, we must trust each other." Wang Feng finished the last sentence. "Then it'll be very smooth. Once you doubt me, the progress will be very slow. Of course, I don't think I'm the kind of person who can give you my all. After all, we've only known each other for a short time." Wang Feng pointed at the ancient clock in the sky. "So, I have a backup plan. If you don't do so, then this ancient bell will directly destroy your souls, and then automatically reassemble my soul and the soul energy of the origin. This way, I can still return to the present in the same state." Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor sighed in relief when he heard this. "So that's how it is. I knew this senior wasn't the human ancestor of the Kanglan Star. Why did he have to go to this extent? He still had a backup plan." Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor looked at the ancient clock in the sky. He also heard Wang Feng's last words. Yu Wushun and the others also had the same thought. They sighed in relief. "We agree," Yu Wushun said solemnly. "I'll immediately summon all the human souls." "All right, there's no time to lose. Let's do it now," Wang Feng said slowly. "According to my calculations, it'll take at most 3 days. Basically, you'll be able to condense a soul crystal because the energy from my origin returning will be very easy for you to condense. It's different from the demon god. Even the weakest human soul won't take long." The moment he finished speaking, Wang Feng's soul slowly disappeared and turned into soul energy. The triangular primordial origin also slowly changed and finally turned into a cloud. It carried Wang Feng's soul energy and flew above the ancient clock. As the primordial origin returning shot out a ray of light, The cloud exploded and turned into countless soul energy that enveloped the entire area. The sculpture on the island suddenly trembled. "Good human, you really have the courage to do this." An inaudible roar came from inside the sculpture. It was filled with extreme disbelief. Chapter 1646. Wang Feng's current feeling was very strange. It was as if his soul was in a state of emptiness. He couldn't sense anything, but he had a feeling that everything was under his control. He wasn't burning his own soul. Instead, he was transforming his soul into countless soul energy through the primordial chaos origin. The bell of primordial chaos shot out from the Pangu axe to suppress everything in this space. He didn't allow his soul energy to leak out. This prevented him from lacking a bit during the fusion. There was no human vision. However, Wang Feng could see the entire area, including the surface of the sea. He could see wherever the soul energy was. It was similar to divine sense. However, his consciousness was very weak. It was so weak that no soul could sense his existence. It was as if he had really disappeared. However, Wang Feng knew that he existed. This situation made him think of a special type of spirit body, the void life form. That's right, those void life forms were in a similar situation. They were life forms condensed from spirit. They didn't have any consciousness and couldn't be attacked by any form of energy. In the dark demon realm, even the demon gods couldn't do anything to them. However, Wang Feng had already analyzed the fundamental source of those void life forms. They were formed by the fusion of the energy of the soul and the chaotic energy of the chaos world after a universe-level life form died. In theory, once these void life forms developed consciousness one day and fused with the void life forms all over the universe, they could become universe-level life forms again. Therefore, to a certain extent, those universe-level life forms didn't completely die after they died. Just like Holy Keisha in the Angel Nebula, after she died, her body turned into countless holy atoms. A special energy carrier could reassemble after hundreds of millions of years. It was almost equivalent to rebirth. Wang Feng had thought that Holy Keisha's strength was infinitely close to that of a universe-level life form. It was because of this way of survival. Of course, it was hard to say about her actual combat strength. After all, universe-level life forms all had the will of the universe. It was a form of power that could represent the changes of the universe. Demon God Huang Hai is so ambitious. Wang Fengxin let out a huge sigh. This origin returning was the way Demon God Huang Hai wanted to learn about universe-level life forms. Wang Feng was sure that Demon God Huang Hai had recently comprehended this. It was even possible that he had comprehended it from the demonic energy, which was the will of the universe. He was already moving towards a universe-level life form, advancing towards this level. This fellow's talent and aptitude were definitely not to be underestimated. Thinking of this, Wang Feng could not help but sigh at his luck. Although there was a certain amount of risk in using this method, it was still very dangerous. However, if he succeeded, it would mean that he could also comprehend an origin similar to origin restoration. At that time, it would be equivalent to him getting a ticket to become a universe-level being. Who knew how many top-notch great beings of the universe he had defeated? Suddenly, Wang Feng felt as if he was being sucked in by something. The scattered soul energy slowly began to flutter, surging throughout the entire area. Countless scenes began to enter Wang Feng's soul. He could clearly see his soul energy being absorbed into the bodies of countless human souls. It was a wonderful feeling. Martial God Yu's influence and authority were extremely strong. Moreover, she did not tell them the truth about the humans of Kanglan Star because there were too many human souls and it would be very troublesome to explain. He didn't even mention the soul crystal in their souls or the fact that they were controlled by the demon god. Once this matter was revealed, the human souls in this area would face collapse. Once a human soul could not see any hope of entering the cycle of reincarnation, his soul would be like a walking corpse, facing the possibility of disappearing. There were too many human souls on Kanglan Star, and most of them were just ordinary human souls. They had been driven to the area outside the Styx waterfall, and their chances of reincarnation were very low. If they knew that their souls were controlled by the demon god, then humans needed to be given some hope. Martial God, you simply told them to absorb the soul energy immediately and strengthen their souls. Then they would have a chance to enter the reincarnation well. This simple principle could guide all the human souls to absorb the soul energy formed by Wang Feng's soul to the greatest extent. After all, not all humans were at Martial God Yu's level. They waited quietly, as countless human souls absorbed and condensed. Wang Feng also sensed countless soul crystal cores. Wang Feng's move was to solve the origin restoration of the demon god of Huang Hai. It was not to break it. There was no way to break this kind of origin. He directly disintegrated the soul crystal core formed by the demon god of Huang Hai's soul energy. I've already condensed it. Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor, who was on the shore of St. Martial Island, condensed it the fastest. He was even faster than Martial God Yu. You're a beast. How did you condense it so quickly? Martial God, you looked at him in surprise. Senior, didn't you say that humans have more in common with him, and that we can absorb the soul energy formed by his soul the fastest? I don't know. Maybe it's fate that brought us together. Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor thought for a moment. Maybe his soul has been in contact with beasts before, so his soul energy doesn't repel mine. Martial God, you look pensive. Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor was right about that. I'm going to start. Use your soul crystal core to devour the other one. Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor took a deep breath and looked at Martial God Yu. Let me do the first experiment for you. Martial God Yu pursed his lips and said, "Be careful. Don't lose it right away." After all, she paused and lowered her voice. We have to enter the cycle of reincarnation together. Only then will we have a next life. Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor paused and looked at Martial God Yu with excitement. Wang Feng wanted to laugh. He could feel it. For this man and beast to have such feelings for each other, they must have had a touching experience when they were alive, right? Just like little Three and little Wu. Following the Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor's movements, he slowly drove the crystal core in his body that was formed by Wang Feng's soul energy to crush another crystal core. Wang Feng sensed an extraordinary power. Huang Hai, I can feel the panic in your heart. As the two soul crystals collided, the soul crystal core turned into Wang Feng's shadow. The other soul crystal core turned into the demon god of Huang Hai's shadow. The demon god of Huang Hai was speechless. I never thought that there would be a human as crazy as me in this world, he said. He didn't seem to be as nervous as he had imagined. As the soul crystals collided, they communicated with their souls. Even Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor couldn't sense it. It was as if they were communicating with a speck of dust. It's just so. Wang Feng waved his hand. Do you want to be devoured by me? Or do you want to be more self-aware? Even if you control this soul crystal core, break the suppression by force, and self-destruct, you'll only end up being devoured by me. The suppression Wang Feng was talking about was the bell of chaos in the sky. I'm not a demon god who can't afford to lose. I admit defeat, demon god of Huang Hai said calmly. Your origin is undeniably powerful. You've inherited the origin tribulation supreme being's origin. But I know that it can't be the origin tribulation supreme being's origin. It's the origin that you comprehended yourself. It's very powerful. Among all the origins I've seen, only the Yama Lord's freedom origin can compare to it. It's even slightly inferior. You flatter me. Wang Feng smiled. You can say more of that. What he meant was, boast more. I enjoy listening to it. The demon god of Huang Hai was speechless. He smiled, sighed, and then slowly disappeared. In an instant, the soul crystal core turned into countless soul energy and fused with Wang Feng's shadow. I didn't expect him to not struggle at all. Wang Feng thought for a few seconds. He was probably in despair. He used the primordial chaos origin to carry his soul. These soul crystals also contain the power of the primordial chaos origin. Even if he struggled, it would be useless. Chapter 1647. You did it. Senior is too powerful. Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor opened his eyes, which were filled with shock. At this moment, the two soul crystal cores in his body had slowly turned into one. It worked. Yu Wuxian had never thought that he could break the demon god's origin in this way. Of course, this was beyond her knowledge. She couldn't think of it because she didn't know much about the origin. However, she felt that even if she had reached the demon god's level, it would be hard for her to think of this method. To them, Wang Feng had already reached a level that was far, far too high. Following Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor's success, the leaders, led by Yu Wuxian, quickly devoured the soul crystal cores in their bodies. Only the soul crystal core that contained Wang Feng's soul energy was left. Because Wang Feng could feel it all the time, his heart calmed down. A few days later, as the last soul crystal core was devoured, the restoration origin of the desolate sea demon god was completely broken. As for Wang Feng, he had absorbed almost all of the demonic will's soul energy. Next, he only needed to quickly gather the soul crystal cores and create a true soul consciousness. Then, Wang Feng could gather all the soul crystal cores and restore his soul state. It wasn't difficult. 2 days later, Wang Feng's soul shadow was the first to emerge from the soul cores of Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor, Feather Martial God, and the others. Wang Feng's soul consciousness returned. He flew up into the sky and emitted a bright rainbow light under the bell of chaos. In an instant, the soul crystal cores and the countless souls below were all absorbed by Wang Feng. The enormous soul energy merged into Wang Feng's soul like hundreds of millions of lights. You only have one demonic will left. Wang Feng took back the chaos and changed back into the Panga axe. He then split the statue on the island with the axe. The remnant will of the demon god within the sculpture was already extremely weak. It was directly shattered into pieces by the remaining power of the axe, turning into soul energy that fused into Wang Feng's body. Then, it entered the primordial chaos source and poured into the Pango axe. As if he could see the progress bar, Wang Feng could clearly feel the changes of the Pangu axe martial soul. He was getting closer and closer to the Pangu axe true soul. This was the place where Wang Feng had spent the most time. He had spent close to 7 days in total. It's time to leave. Wang Feng landed on the ground and glanced at Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor and the others. You don't need to keep this place off limits from now on. The human souls north of the Nether River come from different galaxies. If you want to enter the reincarnation well, I suggest you work together. I'm half a disciple of both the Saint Dharma Masters and the Immortal Cultivators. Also, those angels definitely want to reincarnate as well. In fact, they were not repulsed by humans. Your Kanglan Star is also a member of the Yin-Yang Universe Alliance established by Heavenly Cultivation King. They won't object to the alliance. As for your demonic beast clan, that venerable Crimson Fox won't refuse. Wang Feng did not intend to bring them into the reincarnation well. He would immediately enter the soul-cleansing sea after he dealt with the demonic spirit of the desolate ocean. There was also a frontier protector devil god there. Moreover, if Wang Feng remembered correctly, the two allied demon gods of the desolate sea were even worse off in the battle of the soul demon sacred city. They were left with only half of their souls. These two demon gods were definitely somewhere in this realm, but they were recuperating. After finding them, there were a total of 3 demon gods. They could at least restore the Pangu Axe's soul remnant to about 70% or even higher. Once he reached this level, Wang Feng would also cultivate his own soul. By then, Wang Feng would not be afraid that Mo Tians would enter this place in the form of a soul and pose any threat to him. Senior, are you leaving now? The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor's body shook. Why don't you stay and lead us into the soul-cleansing sea? You're also a human who has dealt with so many demon gods. Your prestige will definitely be the highest. With your ability, You can definitely lead us to the reincarnation well. As long as we reincarnate, I believe that we won't forget you." Wang Feng smiled and said, "I don't have the time. However, I'll open up a path to the soul-cleansing sea. If you can quickly unite, you can follow me into the soul-cleansing sea. However, I'll be facing the demonic spirits of the 3 demon gods later. Once there's a battle, the aftermath will kill many human souls. Therefore, it's not a good thing to follow me. As for the afterlife, it's the beginning. Everything will be forgotten, and everything will be restarted. Otherwise, it should be called rebirth. It's not reincarnation. Don't underestimate reincarnation. It's the cycle of life in the universe." Wang Feng said leisurely, "You haven't reached the level where you can retain your memories and reincarnate in this world. At most, you'll have a vague impression of your next life. Even if there's a special secret technique, it's very limited. Not everyone can do it." The great flame Golden Tiger Emperor was silent. Yu Wuxian nodded slightly. That was indeed the case. They were the top humans on the Kanglan star, and had the power to step into the stars. In the real world, they were much stronger than titled Douluo in the Douluo world. They were even very close to the Dark Demon world's Demon King. The Demon King belonged to the stage where he was about to comprehend the origin. Naturally, Yu Wuxian and the others were very familiar with the rules of the Kanglan star. They knew that reincarnation was not something that anyone could touch. They could let these human remnant souls reincarnate on the Kanglan star, because the Kanglan star had a special world rule. It was impossible for them to retain their memories. "Senior, we'll remember what you've done today in the depths of our souls." Yu Wuxian and the others beside her had solemn expressions. Wang Feng waved his hand. "I'll leave first. Maybe we'll meet again in the soul-cleansing ocean. I hope you can reach there smoothly." He wasn't from the Kanglan star. He sympathized with the suffering of their planet, but he couldn't empathize and put himself in their shoes. Therefore, he didn't have much of a sense of mission to save these humans. If they were in the Douluo world, Wang Feng would be more familiar with them. Wang Feng felt that he would not only turn the demon god of desolation into ashes, but also destroy this world with an axe. But it seemed that he wouldn't meet them. Weaker soul beasts like the golden lightning leopard would die in the war in the Douluo world. As for people like Qing, or those cheap disciples of his, they were all very powerful. It was impossible for them to die in the war with the soul demons. Unless Mo Tiance personally went to the battlefield, tracked down Wang Feng's origin, and destroyed the Douluo world with a sneeze. But that was even more unlikely. If that was the case, their souls would be directly obliterated, and they wouldn't have the chance to come to this world. The reason why Wang Feng asked Bibi Dan to return to the Douluo world was because the Douluo world was about to evolve to the level of the divine realm because of the overflowing life energy of his main body. Letting Bibi Dan return to preside over the overall situation meant that a world comparable to the Douluo divine realm was about to rise. Moreover, that world would be the main source of faith, because the current Douluo world was the world of soul charmers. The stronger that world was, the more help it could provide to Wang Feng. Wang Feng even had a hunch that his chaotic green lotus martial soul was very likely to be closely related to the Douluo world if it wanted to materialize. That was why Wang Feng asked Bibi Dan to return to the Douluo world. After bidding farewell to the Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor and the others, Wang Feng immediately set off for the place where the last strand of the demon god of desolation's demonic consciousness was sealed. Chapter 1648. The boundless surface of the sea reflected the light, but there were no ups and downs. Wang Fengxin was calm. The last sealed demonic will of demon god desolate sea was located on a lone island. Wang Feng arrived in less than half a day. The lone island was located at the edge of the sea. The reason why it was a lone island was because the concentration of soul energy here was so low that it was almost non-existent. Souls would quickly dissipate in such a place. Therefore, no humans had moved to this place. The island wasn't big, and there wasn't a second island in sight. It looked like a small hill. Wang Feng flew to the island peak and saw a huge pagoda statue. There was a phantom floating at the top of the pagoda statue. It was the phantom formed by Huang Hai's demonic will. He sat cross-legged at the top and seemed to have been waiting for a while. "Why aren't you struggling at the last moment?" Wang Fengrao looked at Huang Hai with interest. "I made a bet with you that you wouldn't destroy my last demonic will." Huang Hai looked at the Dead Sea in the distance. It was as calm as an ancient well. He did not notice Wang Feng's arrival at all. Wang Feng did not say anything. The pango axe in his hand lit up, and he slashed down without a word. "Wait, you human, can you be reasonable?" Huang Hai instinctively jumped up and said in a deep voice, "I haven't even finished speaking, and you're already in a hurry to attack. I'm not interested." Wang Feng slashed down with his axe. In an instant, the pagoda statue was split into two. Immediately after, the back of the axe transformed into the bell of chaos and suppressed the top of the broken pagoda statue. Huang Hai's last demonic will slowly emerge from the statue, but it was suppressed by the rainbow light emitted from the chaos and could not move at all. Immediately after, Wang Feng slashed down with his axe again. Human. Huang Hai could no longer remain calm and could no longer sit still. He realized that this human did not follow the rules at all. He was not even interested in hearing his last words. "This secret has something to do with the Yama Lord. Don't you want to hear it?" He could not help but let out a final roar. At this moment, the desolate sea demonic god's desire to live was extremely strong. "Let me tell you, if you kill me, you will be the next me." Wang Feng's axe did not stop at all. In an instant, it chopped at the last strand of demonic god desolate sea's demonic will. Boom! A huge amount of soul energy erupted. The last demonic will disappeared from the world. With his hands behind his back, Wang Feng looked at him with a calm expression and said slowly, "You are just a chess piece, but I will not be a chess piece. I'm not you, Huang Hai." Demonic god desolate ocean was no longer breathing, so he naturally could not hear Wang Feng's words. However, the immense spiritual energy was extremely violent and restless. It seemed to contain the last bit of the desolate sea demon god's unwillingness. The primordial chaos origin floated above Wang Feng's palm, absorbing soul energy like a whale sucking in water. In just a moment, it was completely absorbed. After putting away the chaos bell, Wang Feng injected all the energy in his origin into the pango axe. The pango axe emitted a lustrous glow. The ancient axe body became increasingly clear, and the supreme aura that could cut through the primal chaos became increasingly solid. It was also becoming more and more terrifying. Suddenly, Wang Feng felt the world around him tremble. Monstrous waves surged on the Dead Sea surface. The sky changed unpredictably, as if it was about to collapse. It became a little gloomier. It was as if the world was trembling. Wang Feng weighed the pango axe in his hand and suddenly sensed a strange power. This is Wang Feng's eyes narrowed. The intent contained in the pango axe martial soul. At this moment, Wang Feng could feel the power of this axe. He gently stroked the axe body, and the scene of the primal chaos breaking apart and billions of purple light descending appeared in his mind. At this moment, he could feel the aura of life contained in this supreme treasure and his own intent to split open the heavens. However, it did not last long. In less than 10 breaths, the world returned to calmness. It was like a flash in the pan. Perhaps only the complete Pangu Axe true soul can truly feel it. This kind of enlightenment was very useful to Wang Feng at his current level. Speaking of which, the demonic god Desolate Ocean's 6 demonic wills have been destroyed. His demonic aura should be with the Yama Lord, right? Wang Feng thought for a moment. After all, it was sealed by the Yama Lord. The Yama Lord had probably obtained the demonic aura from the demonic god Desolate Ocean long ago. He nodded. He did not care much about the demonic aura. If nothing unexpected happened, Wang Feng felt that with the Pangu Axe or the chaotic green lotus, these 2 supreme treasures that could break the primal chaos of the universe, he could become a universe-level life form. He did not need the universe's intent contained in the demonic aura at all. After packing up everything, Wang Feng was about to leave. And what's this? Suddenly, Wang Feng glanced at the broken pagoda statue from the corner of his eyes. He saw a row of words under the broken statue. It was the ancient demon language of the dark demon world. Wang Feng's heart skipped a beat. He frowned slightly and walked over. Human, if you see this sentence, it means that I am no longer here. You killed me, right? Why don't you take a guess? What did I leave those words behind? Wang Feng's breathing paused slightly. This was left behind by the demonic god Desolate Ocean. You wouldn't have guessed that this was left behind when my true self was sealed. Wang Feng was stunned. If so, it meant that the demonic god Desolate Ocean already knew that he would be killed by him? Impossible. When the demonic god Desolate Ocean was sealed, he was not in this world yet. At the same time, if you see this sentence, it means that I did not have time to tell you directly. Heh, you're indeed the same as me. Tens of thousands of years ago, I, the demon god of desolation, started as a soul demon with mediocre strength and low innate talent. Then, I became the demon god of today. I went through countless hardships, fought with all the races in the universe, slaughtered countless lives, and beheaded countless gods. I thought I could reach the end of the universe. I did not expect to end up in such a situation. How laughable. Since you have seen this sentence, I will not waste time with you. I think, with your intelligence, you must think that I killed myself and my soul came to this world to bring the demonic aura into the reincarnation, well, to reincarnate and escape from the dark demon world. Right? Wang Feng frowned slightly. Was that not the case? It is normal for you to be able to guess this. It is also in line with my nature. In fact, if this demonic aura could really turn me into a universe-level life form, I would definitely do the same. But in fact, it is not. When I obtained this demonic aura, I knew that the demonic ancestor deliberately left this demonic aura for us juniors. Do you know what kind of universe-level willpower is contained in it? You will not be able to guess it. Of course, I will not be able to guess it. How could Wang Feng guess it without thinking? But that might not be the case. Wang Feng was suddenly stunned. According to the historical records he obtained in the dark demon world, that demonic ancestor, Mo Tiance, obtained a total of 3 demonic auras. In other words, he obtained 3 universe-level willpowers and only relied on 2 demonic auras to become a universe-level life form, and left one behind. According to what was said at that time, that demonic ancestor wanted to leave an opportunity for the dark demon world so that the juniors could also become universe-level life forms. But there was a big problem here. Wang Feng did not notice it before. Now that he saw the words left behind by the demonic god Desolate Ocean, he suddenly remembered. Was that demonic ancestor, Mo Tiance, that good? According to Mo Tiance's performance back then, he even saw the dark demon world as an ant. In order to eliminate Wang Feng, he did not have much pity for the dark demon world. He even used the mysterious universe-level willpower to suppress Wang Feng, making it difficult for Wang Feng to resist. At that time, the dark demon world must have suffered a great loss. So, was this Mo Tiance that good? Wang Feng did not believe that the bastard was such a good person, greedy and cunning. The reason why Mo Tiance attacked Wang Feng was because he coveted the ancestral domain. Was he the kind senior that would leave behind a universe-level willpower for the juniors? If not, what was the meaning of him leaving behind this demonic aura? Wang Feng felt that it must be for himself. Chapter 1649. If that was the case, then there was an explanation. Wang Fengxin thought of something and continued reading. This is an incomplete will of the universe. It's called calamity luck. It's the will of the universe that can control the calamities in the universe. But it's incomplete. What does it mean to be incomplete? It means that once you touch this will of the universe, you'll be cursed endlessly if you can't get the complete version. This sentence reminded Wang Feng of the Crimson Fox Supreme. Once you're cursed, you'll never be able to get rid of it. He had to admit that it was somewhat credible, because the Crimson Fox Supreme belonged to the Crimson Divine Fox Supreme. That ancestor demon knew that this wisp of demonic chi was the incomplete will of the universe, so he didn't take it away immediately. So he left it in the dark demon world as an experiment. He suppressed it under the heaven nether river and knew that ordinary soul demons couldn't get it. Even the Lord of Hell couldn't break a place like the heaven nether river. Once you get it, you'll definitely have great luck and great strength. Although it was only written in handwriting, Wang Feng seemed to have heard the words of the demon god of Huang Hai. His heart sank slightly. I don't know much, but once such an existence obtains this wisp of demonic chi, with his great luck, it's very likely that he'll be able to offset this curse. At this time, it's inevitable that this ancestor demon will appear and take away the soul demon with the demonic chi. He'll be able to get the will of the universe contained in this wisp of demonic chi unscathed. The handwriting was messy and wild. One could imagine the unwillingness and anger of the demon god of Huang Hai when he left these words. I schemed and schemed, but I didn't expect that after I obtained this wisp of devil chi, I would be wild with joy and want to comprehend the will of the universe within it. However, just as my consciousness entered the devil chi, I was cursed by a terrifying will of the universe. Do you think I came to this world by burning my own demonic body? Bullshit. It's because I was cursed. I was about to pass through the wormhole world when I was accidentally killed by an expert from another universe. Helpless, I returned to the dark demon world and triggered the black tide that I've already set up. Then I attracted the clear sky palace, and my soul came to this world where it was found. However, I thought that after I died, the curse would disappear. But it didn't. Not only did it not disappear, this curse caused me to fall beside the Yama King as soon as I arrived in this world. Although the Yama Lord was in this world, he had already learned of what had happened in the dark demon realm. He immediately severed my soul, divided it into 8 parts, and sealed them outside the Styx waterfall. Furthermore, she managed to obtain that strand of demonic aura. Wang Feng. He did not expect demon god Desolate Sea to have such an unknown story. Later, when I was here, I suddenly understood. Through my schemes, I obtained that wisp of fiendish aura. But in reality, that demonic chi should have belonged to you, because you obtained the Heaven Styx River. You've done something that even the king Douluo couldn't do. You're the one who possesses heavenly luck and can even counteract the curse of this incomplete universe's will. He is also the one that the first devil wanted to use and scheme against. At this point, the writing stopped for a long time. Wang Feng was silent for a moment. When demon god Desolate Sea said this, he was really pitiful. He had painstakingly obtained the demonic chi through his schemes. The hidden will of the universe thought that he could open the door to becoming a universe-level life form. In the end, he realized that this thing was not something he could obtain, because by right, that demonic chi should have belonged to him. But if it belonged to him, he was not sure if he would be cursed by the incomplete universe's will. But he was sure that Mo Tyans had noticed it immediately. By then, he would be the one who made the wedding dress for someone else. Wang Fengxin smiled. In that case, he had to thank demon god Desolate Sea. Human, I know that you must be glad after hearing this. If you were the one who obtained the demonic chi back then, you would have been targeted by the first devil. And when the first devil obtained that demonic chi, even your soul would not be able to escape. You would be absorbed and refined by him. The writing stopped for a long time before continuing again. He was probably thinking, but if I were you, I wouldn't be happy. Because if I told you that the Yama Lord knew the secret of that demonic chi long ago, all of this was merely part of her scheme. Even my soul was sealed in 6 different places. She did it on purpose. Now that you have absorbed my demonic will soul in 6 places, I wonder if you can still be happy? Wang Feng was slightly stunned. He had actually considered this point. Why did the Yama Lord seal demon god Desolate Sea's soul in 6 places in this world? Even if the Yama Lord could not destroy demon god Desolate Sea's soul, he must have many ways to deal with it. But he had to separate demon god Desolate Sea's soul in 6 places. The most interesting thing was that the strength of the demonic will in 6 places was the limit that he could deal with in the beginning. If demon god Desolate Sea's demonic was a little stronger on Yunlai Island, he would definitely be able to escape. But it was cut down by Wang Feng's axe. Then, the Pango axe became stronger. Every demonic, that followed, would be easy to deal with. This was too much of coincidence. Why didn't the Yama Lord divide it into 3, 4, or 5? I even know that the Yama Lord seemed to know that you would come here. Because she didn't destroy my soul directly, I guessed that she was preparing something. All of this must be related to the demonic energy. That demonic energy should have been obtained by you. Naturally, all of this must be related to you. Speaking of which, human, do you know why I have to tell you so much? Wang Feng was still deep in thought. He thought about it when he saw this paragraph, but he couldn't think of a complete answer. Why did demon god Desolate Sea have to tell him all this? If he didn't say it, the situation would be even worse for him. Because I hate being used as a pawn. Wang Feng could feel a strong sense of indignation through the messy handwriting, especially being used as a pawn by the Yama Lord. In the words of you humans, she is my bowl, the benefactor who helped me become a demon god. I admire her, and I used to be incomparably convinced and revered her. But in the end, I was used as a pawn. Do you know why I have to obtain that demonic energy? Wang Feng had heard of this before. Demon god Desolate Sea was a demon god born in the magical machine era of the dark demon world. He was groomed by the Yama Lord. Therefore, when he joined forces with the other 2 demon gods to attack the Soul Demon Sacred City and create the Black Tide while Yama Lord was away, he was secretly despised by the Soul Demons and even the demon gods. Chapter 1650. Because I learned that Yama Lord went to the Well of Reincarnation. She wanted to control the Well of Reincarnation and use the dark demon world as the foundation to comprehend the will of the universe, to become a universe-level life form. But it's too difficult to comprehend it. She needs at least a universe-level life form as a reference. But she couldn't get that wisp of demonic energy. I wanted to get that wisp of demonic energy, comprehend it, and share it with her, to help her comprehend it and become a universe-level life form. But in the end, she's just a pawn. Human, you're also her pawn now. I hope you know what's good for you. If possible, I hope. He paused here for a long time. You can F***CK her over. That's it, Wang Feng. He roughly understood why demon god Desolate Sea had said those words. He wanted to use his final struggle to disrupt Yama Lord's game. He wanted him to be wary of Yama Lord and be aggressive. After reading it, Wang Feng was silent for a long time. He waved his hand gently, and the words disappeared. Wang Feng's heart wavered slightly, but he quickly calmed down. Whether what Huang Hai said was true or not, it only represented Huang Hai. Wang Feng still needed to feel the actual situation himself. It's time to cultivate the soul, Wang Feng thought to himself. He had finished absorbing Huang Hai's demonic consciousness. Next, Wang Feng needed to deduce a cultivation technique system that could cultivate the soul. Looking at the boundless coast in the distance and the waterfall of the Styx River that connected heaven and earth, Wang Feng plunged into the sea. He circulated his qi and swallowed the seawater crazily, turning it into pure energy for the primordial origin to deduce quickly. A small whirlpool began to form in the originally deathly still sea where Wang Feng had stopped. Then, the whirlpool grew rapidly. In just a few days, the whirlpool gradually spread. The seawater began to disappear as if it had evaporated, and the primordial origin's deduction was progressing faster and faster. Soul. It was the foundation of life and life. Different life forms had different souls. For example, the human race. In different universes, the human race's soul was different due to the different laws of heaven and earth. Some human souls were divided into 3 souls: heaven, earth, and human. Some human souls were divided into 3 souls and 7 spirits. Some human souls were divided into yin and yang. But the essence of the human soul was the same. In the process of deducing, Wang Feng thought of the origin-convergence origin. The soul of a universe-level life form was as vast as the 9 heavenly galaxies. Therefore, Even if they disappeared, their souls would only turn into countless tiny energy particles and would never disappear. If you want to become a universe-level life form, other than comprehending the universe willpower, your soul must also reach a higher level. Therefore, the end of the soul must be the reincarnation of a universe, the endless primordial wheel. He seemed to have understood something. Segments of syllables were deduced from the primal chaos source. With the time of the origin wheel as the foundation and the reincarnation of a universe as the end, the soul is immortal and indestructible. Even if the galaxy is shattered and the universe is annihilated, the soul will still be indestructible. Wang Feng opened his eyes at the bottom of the sea. It was unknown how much time had passed. Perhaps it wasn't long. However, the primordial chaos source's deduction finally came to a conclusion. The soul cultivation system finally had a beginning. It would take a very long time to complete each system and the corresponding cultivation method. But with a start, it was enough for him to cultivate. In the universe, with the origin wheel, which was the universe time 129,600 years, there would be calamities in the universe. It symbolized that countless universe-level life forms would have to go through a reincarnation cycle. It was a symbol of death and also the beginning of all living things. If one wanted to be indestructible, the soul had to surpass this number. Hence, Wang Feng's soul cultivation didn't absorb any soul energy. He wanted to absorb time. He wanted to merge the soul with time and become immortal in the universe annihilation. This was deduced by the primordial chaos source, the only way for the soul to surpass the universe-level life form he knew. Origin wheel-time soul. Such a soul, the moment it was successfully cultivated, it would be very powerful. However, the difficulty wasn't just high. Time was the law. It was the law of the world, the law of the universe, and even the will of the universe. To absorb time, to cultivate the soul, Wang Feng felt that the primordial chaos source's deduction wasn't something normal people could cultivate. However, thinking about it, how would he know if he didn't try? Even though it was still incomplete, it wasn't impossible to give it a try. This was the origin wheel-time soul. The first level was to allow the soul to flow with time and enter the river of time, to obtain the essence of time and use it to strengthen the soul. Every world had its own basic law of time, and this world also had it. The primordial chaos source had already deduced the first level, so Wang Feng planned to give it a try and use this world as an experiment. Wang Feng stopped the operation of the energy conversion technique, and the huge vortex in the sea began to slowly disappear. He flew into the air and immersed his soul. According to the syllables of the cultivation technique deduced by the primordial chaos source, he tried to let his soul enter the time of this world. But it was too difficult. He had no clue. After thinking for a while, Wang Feng seemed to have thought of something. He began to recall the bits and pieces of when he came to this world. All of a sudden, Wang Feng felt that the world seemed to have changed. Countless scenes began to combine in his soul. From a moment he entered this world to the moment he encountered the first soul demon. Countless scenes, like a jigsaw puzzle, merged into a long river. But this long river was incomplete. It was like a world map. Only a few maps were pasted on it, and the other places were all blank. When he looked at the river, he could only see boundless emptiness. What he had encountered before was not even worth mentioning in this river. The strange thing was that this long river was still flowing. Every second, there were countless gray scenes flowing at the bottom of the long river. But he could not see any. This is a time gap. I can see the flow of time in this world. Wang Fengxin was shocked. Because he had the ancestral realm, he was clear about the operation of the world. His soul plunged into this long river. Wang Feng only felt an incomparably powerful, mysterious force pulling at his soul, as if it was about to tear it apart. The cultivation technique deduced by the primordial chaos source is really powerful. I didn't expect to be able to perceive the flow of time in this world so quickly. No, could it be because of my soul? Wang Fengxin's heart stirred. Forget it. I'll try to absorb the time of this world first. Just by immersing my soul in this long river of time, I can feel countless karmic forces pulling at me. This is really not something that ordinary people can cultivate. Over time, even if my soul has been tempered by karmic fire, it will still be tainted with countless karmic forces. The time in this world was constructed from the experiences of countless lives. Absorbing this time into his soul was equivalent to turning the experiences of countless lives into his own. Thus, his soul would become stronger. Just imagine a world, even a planet in Wang Feng's previous life, had a population of billions. If the experiences of billions of people were to be fused into one soul, who knew how much pressure it would have to endure? But at the same time, once he got through it, his soul would certainly reach a terrifying level. Chapter 1651. While Wang Feng was submerged in the sea to cultivate his soul. After an unknown period of time, Sky Heart Island. Angel Foam looked at the small island that was gradually disappearing from Adair. With a resolute gaze, she turned and looked into the distance. There was the Styx waterfall. They were angels, preparing to head to the Styx waterfall and kill a bloody path to the soul-cleansing ocean to find the opportunity to reincarnate. In our angel nebula, after an angel dies, our souls will return to the universe. To find new life, a female angel beside Angel Foam patted Angel Foam's shoulder. Don't worry. The evil demon god under Sky Heart Island has disappeared. Our duty is done. It's time to fight. Yes. Angel Foam nodded. Her tone suddenly became a little worried. Sister Ing, can we do it with just us angels? The angel called Sister Ing smiled and said, that's right. Captain Lung looked down on humans when she was alive. But to fight for the last time, she sent us to contact the human souls in other regions. The situation seems to be good. The souls of the suppressed demon gods in other regions have all disappeared. I heard that it was a human soul that destroyed them. She paused, looking very surprised. Also, it seems that when we were fighting with the soul demons a few weeks ago, that human soul appeared. It was the intense light that destroyed Sky Heart Island. But we angels did not see each other. So that's how it is. Angel Foam said thoughtfully, I didn't tell you that day. In fact, I met a human soul that day and saw him attack with my own eyes. But later, he left quickly. He only said a few words to me. Also, he seemed to be very interested in us angels. He also asked a lot about Tian Xiaowang. You met him? Angel Ing looked surprised. Why didn't you say so earlier? I was afraid you wouldn't believe me. He said his name was Xia Qianren. Angel Foam said, a few days ago, I asked Captain Lung indirectly. She said she didn't know. Although Captain Lung was part of the first batch of angels to join the Dark Array and respect Tian Xiaowang, she was not his personal guard. She only knew a little about Tian Xiaowang. It's not very detailed. I know of an angel who knows Tian Xiaowang very well. Angel Ing suddenly said, however, she went to the Styx waterfall first as a vanguard to scout for information. Let's find a chance to ask her. Speaking of which, this human soul is so powerful, and he has even subdued the suppressed devil consciousness of many demon gods. Why didn't he bring the humans to the Styx River? Maybe he has his own matters to attend to. Angel Foam recalled Xie Qianren and could not help but explain. In this world, what could be more important than reincarnation? Angel Ing patted Angel Mo's shoulder again. Perhaps this human did the same thing and entered the cycle of reincarnation. It's just that it's in a way that we can't understand. Angel Mo felt that Sister Ing was very understanding. Sister Ing knows how to talk. Angel Foam pursed her lips and smiled. Suddenly, she said with a serious expression, if it were Captain Lung, he would definitely mock and ridicule. Aren't humans all selfish? He was so strong that he could even take care of a demon god. So why did he have to bring so many burdens along? There were hundreds of millions of human souls, and most of them were ordinary human souls. If I were him, I would definitely be alone. I would be too lazy to bring so many useless human souls. Ha ha, little Mo, your demeanor is quite similar to Captain Lung's. Angel Ing smiled. However, although Captain Lung would say that, He would not do it. Look, didn't he still contact those humans? That's because Captain Lung was worried that he would fail this time. It was probably because they believed in the saying, there is strength in numbers. Furthermore, he is the most powerful angel here. He still wants to be responsible for us. Angel Foam thought for a moment and said. Angel Ling nodded approvingly. At this moment, a cold voice entered their ears. What are you two talking about here? A valiant female angel flew over from afar. Even in soul form, she emitted a fierce aura. She quickly flew over and scolded them. I heard the two of you talking here, and they're from afar. Just because I'm dead, I'm not your captain anymore? Little Amo, go to the front, right to receive those demon beasts. Ah, why do you want me to receive those demon beasts? I don't want. Those demon beasts are ugly. Angel Foam's expression was bitter. Captain Lung, why don't I switch with sistering? The angel glared at her coldly and said impatiently, cut the crap. Just go when I tell you to. Angel Foam trembled. Due to the latter's majesty, she still flew away with a crying face. Angel Ling did not leave. She only asked, how confident are you this time? 60 to 70%, Angel Ing replied. After thinking for a moment, she said, what's that human saying again? Succeed or die trying. Otherwise, if we stay here, we will slowly fade away. This opportunity has come. I hope nothing happens to those humans. Angel Ing nodded. As Angel Lung's assistant, she also knew that this was the last chance. She asked again, a few days ago, the sea surface shook. A huge whirlpool appeared at the border. How is the situation? The angels I sent didn't notice anything, but such a terrifying whirlpool caused the entire sea surface to fall. It's very strange. I was worried that they would be in danger, so I let them return first. Anyway, it's not a demon god. It might have nothing to do with us. Angel Lung shook her head. Looking at the angels flying not far away from her, a hint of hostility appeared between her brows. It's time to teach those soul demons a lesson. Angel Ling, follow me. I've already contacted a few human powerhouses. I plan to be the vanguard. After entering the Nether River, we will definitely encounter a large number of demon souls. Try to minimize your casualties. How many are there? Not many. Hundreds. It's a pity for Cloud Gathering Island. Their cultivators were bewitched by the demon god. Later, I heard that humans saw through it. Then, countless human souls devoured them. Otherwise, they would also be a powerful force. Angel Ling nodded slightly. Following Angel Lung, she turned into a stream of light and sped toward the Nether River waterfall. A moment later, a few miles away from the Nether River waterfall, they were the first to see a group of figures waiting for them. Other than the dozens of familiar Saint Spell Masters in the lead, there were two humans from Cloud Gathering Island. It's an angel. Among the figures, Mu Ro's eyes lit up. Shangjun, look, I didn't expect that I would have the chance to fight alongside an angel. I see it. Shangjun glanced at her. End of chapter. Chapter 1652. Angels are really perfect. Mu Ro suddenly sighed. Look at their souls. They're all dead. Each of them looks so beautiful, and their figures are so perfect. They're just like goddesses. The civilization level of the Angel Nebula is many times higher than our cerulean planet. Shangjun said seriously. They have highly advanced genetic technology. Naturally, their appearance is much more perfect than ours. Moreover, strength and power don't depend on appearance. Look at these Saint Dharma Masters. They're all skinny, but their souls aren't weak. Shangjun pointed at the group of Saint Dharma Masters beside her. The Saint Mage in the lead was very old. He was an old man and was indeed as thin as firewood. He held a magic staff that was condensed from soul energy. Hearing this, he only smiled awkwardly. I think they're just SOSO. Mu Ro glanced at these Saint Dharma Masters. We've only spent a few months, and it seems like we're about to catch up with them. That's because the 7 emotions Immortal Soul Record Senior gave us is too powerful. Shangjun's eyes were filled with reverence. Our aptitude is actually not bad. It's not just us who cultivate very fast. The brave souls among us humans who have slightly special souls cultivate very fast. If those cultivators from Yunlai Island were still here, they wouldn't be able to cultivate as fast as us. Although compared to those demonic souls, they're still very weak. Let's talk about other things. I wonder where Senior Wang is now. Muro looked into the distance. A moment later, Angel Lung led a group of angels and landed around them. They reluctantly exchanged a few pleasantries. I'll send people to receive that group of martial artists and demon beasts. Wait for a moment. When they arrive, we'll set off. Angel Lung looked at everyone. His gaze paused on Mu Ro, Shang Jun, and the people around them for a moment. He frowned slightly. You're humans from Cerulean Planet? I remember that other than those super warriors, the humans from Cerulean Planet are all very weak, right? Can you represent Cerulean Planet humans? What? Mu Ro was stunned. She immediately said, Angel, don't look down on people. What's wrong with Cerulean Planet humans? I know you must have died in the Galactic War. You don't have a good impression of Cerulean Planet humans. But we're different now. The angel sneered and was too lazy to speak. Whatever. Since you can represent the humans of the Blue Planet, don't hide behind us and tremble after we pass the Styx waterfall. Just as Mu Ro was about to get angry, Shang Jun and her other companions pulled her back. There's no need. The Seven Emotions Immortal Soul Record had the Seven Emotions Soul Gazing Technique. It could allow one to sense the emotional fluctuations of the soul very intensely. Haven't you noticed that although this angel's tone is very aggressive, she doesn't have any ill will toward us? Shang Jun's eyes flashed. Mu Ro scratched her head as if she had recalled something. She couldn't help but chuckle. Oh, that's true. I forgot. Shang Jun looked at her helplessly. This guy's brain seems to have a one-track mind. It looked ordinary. However, the speed at which she cultivated the Seven Emotions Immortal Soul Record was even faster than his. Truly, fortune favors fools. The Seven Emotions Immortal Soul Record was a complete set of records regarding soul cultivation. Among them, the Seven Emotions Soul Refining Technique was a soul cultivation technique. There were also many other uses, such as soul attacks, divine senses, mental restrictions, and so on. There were many introductions to the various secret techniques. It was an orthodox soul cultivation secret technique passed down by the immortals. However, Shang Jun felt that this was definitely not the original Seven Emotions Immortal Soul Record. That Senior had said that it had been improved. It wasn't completely the Seven Emotions Immortal Soul Record passed down by the immortal cultivators on Cloud Gathering Island. It seemed to be very suitable for them to cultivate. Moreover, there were many notes added to make it easier for humans to understand. It could be said that the difficulty of cultivation had been greatly reduced. Moreover, the cultivation speed and effects were obviously different. That angel! Mu Ro shouted. Did you meet another person called Wang out Yin on Sky Heart Island? What the hell? Angel Lung turned to look at her and frowned. Do you think that humans can enter the island where we angels live? No, that's strange. Mu Ro couldn't figure it out and sighed. Don't worry. We will meet again if fate allows. Shang Jun patted Mu Ro's shoulder. Senior should have been there before. However, he might not have met these angels directly. Mu Ro nodded. After a while, Angel Lung suddenly looked at a red figure in the distance. What a powerful soul aura. That Scarlet Fox Supreme from the demonic beasts is really different. I wonder what kind of powerful life form he is. His soul aura is so strong. Scarlet Fox Supreme led 3 beast spirits and dozens of demonic beasts to this place. Angel Mo carefully led these demonic beasts in front. The captain is here, Angel Mo said softly. Angel Lung nodded and walked over. After a while, several angels brought different humans to this place from afar. In just a short while, a group of people had gathered. Angel Lung, long time no see. The representative of the warriors, Yu Wuxian, also came with dozens of human warriors. Yu Lingjia. A smile appeared on Angel Lung's face. I didn't expect you to still be here. Good, very good. The demonic beast beside you? Yu Wuxian glanced at the great flame golden tiger emperor beside him. He could be considered my soulmate. Angel Lung showed an incredulous expression and looked at him in astonishment. You, a human and a beast. You are of different races. How can you be soulmates? This is unbelievable. Angel, what are you talking about? The great flame golden tiger emperor glared at Angel Lung unhappily. What's wrong with a human and a beast? I heard that the level of the angel civilization is very high. You even have some genetic technology and can reproduce asexually. Angel Lung raised her eyebrows and glanced at Yuwushin. She didn't refute. Let's go. Angel Lung looked at the many human souls gathered. Although the souls gathered here were in their own camps, they still protected each other. Angel Lung's voice seemed to have pressed the countdown for this attack in their hearts. The mighty group of humans rushed toward the Nether River waterfall in front of them. Not long after, a human figure jumped out of the sea like a flowing star, emitting a dazzling light. When the light got closer, only silver light patterns could be seen flowing on the figure's body. Under the influence of the silver light patterns, the soul body was like an indestructible piece of jade. There was a mysterious charm flowing on it. The human figure flew into the clouds. Within the soul's eyes, countless pointers were reflected, forming countless images that flashed past. Initial wheel soul, success. Wang Feng exhaled softly. My current soul has already surpassed the soul form of most normal life forms in the universe. Conventional means can no longer erase my soul. Even if a universe-level life form makes a move, as long as my soul can enter time, I can easily escape. I won't have to self-destruct like before. He had absorbed the countless essence of time in this world's time river. Wang Feng didn't know what other miraculous uses his initial wheel soul had. After all, he had just deduced it and trained it successfully. No matter how successful he deduced it, he still needed to test it out. Wang Feng's eyes moved. Let's go to the soul washing ocean first. Oh wait, I didn't expect. I've already gone. Chapter 1653. 47 days have passed. Wang Feng looked at the distant sea and sensed the changes in time. His soul could easily sense the changes in every second. The soul cultivation system deduced by the primordial origin was something Wang Feng had never seen before, but it was definitely the most suitable for him. In Wang Feng's line of sight, the scene in front of him was no longer just heaven and earth and the sea. Instead, there were countless shadows. These jumping shadows were the scenes that had once happened here. His soul could not only feel the flow of time, but also see the scenes that had happened in every second. Time reversal. He suddenly disappeared, and his soul escaped into these shadows. He saw many familiar shadows. From Mu-Ro, who he first met, to Angel Blade, Scarlet Fox Supreme, and finally Great Flame, Golden Tiger Emperor, and Feather Martial God. As Wang Feng moved forward, he could see very clearly. In the blink of an eye, Wang Feng's soul returned to the air. He muttered, I didn't expect that angel to unite most of the humans and plan to invade the soul-cleansing sea. On the soul-cleansing sea, not to mention the other soul demons, just the imperial border demon god alone is enough to make you suffer. From this world's time, he was able to see everything that happened just now. This was one of the abilities of the primordial soul that Wang Feng knew. He could sense the changes in time with his soul and see everything that had happened in every corner of this world. The more he saw, the longer the time, the greater the consumption of soul energy. In other words, as long as something had happened in this world, it could not be hidden from Wang Feng. Wang Feng felt the strength of his soul at this time. Without thinking too much, he immediately set off for the soul-cleansing sea. Along the way, Wang Feng still felt every corner of this world, all the way to the Styx waterfall. The light and shadows of battles began to appear in the river of time. After all the soul eyes led by Angel Lung entered the Styx waterfall, a large number of battles began. In the air, what appeared in front of Wang Feng were countless battle lights and shadows. They were densely packed, like an abstract oil painting. Wang Feng could see every scene clearly, and even the details of the battle. No scene could escape the records of time. He saw that Mu Rou and Shang Jun were already able to defeat those weaker demon souls. Their souls were powerful and full of vitality. They looked more like spirit bodies than pure souls. Above the spiritual body, there were different colored lights flowing within it, representing the cultivation progress of the seven emotions art, the core technique of the seven emotions immortal soul record. It wasn't just Mu Rou and Shang Jun. There were many other humans who also practiced the seven emotions immortal soul record. The two of them must have taught this technique to other humans. He also saw the silhouettes of many cultivators. Back then, Cloudcomb Island had only been the largest group of cultivators in that area. In fact, there were many other cultivators in the human region where Mu Rou was. Wang Feng could even see the incantations these cultivators were using through the flow of time. Using the primordial origin, he could completely deduce them. It could be said to be a wonderful creation. This was a very interesting matter. It wasn't just Mu Rou. There was also Angel Foam, whom he had met before, and the other angels. Finally, Wang Feng sensed a special power from the Captain Cold that Angel Foam had mentioned. That was the power of darkness. To be more precise, it was the aura of darkness. This Angel Lung's wings were different from other angels. It was black. It meant that they had joined the Heavenly Cultivation King's dark sequence and had been bestowed with a symbol of greater power. In the end, Wang Feng also saw the Crimson Fox Supreme. This mysterious ancient life form of the Crimson Deity Celestial Fox clan almost didn't fight. Or rather, the battle in the Nether River wasn't worth his time. Interestingly, the Crimson Fox Supreme's light and shadow in the long river of the world was very dim. A race that carries the will of the universe. Reaching the level of the Crimson Fox Supreme has already transcended normal time and space. The traces they left in the long river of time are very faint. If they have reached the universe level, their words and actions, if they want to, might not leave any traces in any world. Wang Feng came to this conclusion. However, the soul that Wang Feng cultivated was not the same. Chasing the traces left behind by the light and shadow of time, Wang Feng watched them kill their way into the soul-cleansing sea. A path was forcefully opened in the Nether River. At this time, the path was very difficult. Casualties began to occur in large numbers. This was because the demonic souls in the soul-cleansing sea were all powerhouses among the soul demons when they were alive. The weakest were soul demons who had entered the ranks. And the soul demons who had entered the ranks were all top-notch powerhouses in ordinary middle and lower worlds when they were alive. Their demonic souls were naturally not weak. From here, the angels and immortal cultivators became the main forces. However, Wang Feng could see that Mu Rou and Shang Jun, as well as the human souls who had cultivated the seven emotions immortal soul record, were growing rapidly. However, no matter how strong they grew, they could not avoid the demonic souls that were like mountains and seas. A demonic soul rushed towards Mu Rou with a ferocious expression. The demonic claws in his palm were dyed with scarlet flames that seemed to be able to burn souls. With one move, he pierced through Mu Rou's heart and soul. The scarlet flames immediately dyed Mu Rou's entire body. Immediately after, the demonic soul was also pierced through by the light that shot out from Shang Jun's fingertip. But obviously, Mu Rou's injuries were more serious. Wang Feng's expression was solemn as he watched the scenes that happened in the long river of time. Obviously, Mu Rou's soul had been severely injured. This was normal. After all, they were not the main characters of the world. Even if Angel Lung had gathered the combat power of most of the human souls and cultivated the seven emotions immortal soul record that Wang Feng had modified and annotated, it was impossible for him to defeat the demonic souls that liked the sea. It was even more impossible for him to not be injured. It wasn't just Mu Rou. Other than the Crimson Fox supremacy, even the angels began to suffer heavy injuries. Half of Angel Mo's wings were gone, and her soul was in an extremely ethereal state. Even the light and shadow in the long river of time were faintly discernible. This meant that she was about to disappear. The great flame Golden Tiger Emperor was even more miserable. In order to save the feather martial god, who was not far away, he was attacked by an origin demon. An origin demon was a demonic soul that had already comprehended the origin when it was alive. It had already reached the level of a demon lord or even a demon master when it was alive. No matter how strong the great flame golden tiger emperor's soul was, it could not withstand a single attack. In a soul state, it did not have divine power to use the origin. Even Wang Feng had to use the origin exchange technique to absorb the power of the seawater here and convert it into substantial energy to supply the primordial origin. Only then could it operate for a long time. However, even if these demonic souls could not use the origin, their attacks contained a trace of the profundity of the origin. There were even many demonic souls that possessed powerful soul attacks. Moreover, the Dark Demon Realm had unified countless worlds when it was alive. It recorded the civilizations of countless worlds. There were records of these civilizations in their god-slaying. In other words, whether it was saint spell masters, immortal cultivators, demon beasts like the Great Flame, Golden Tiger Emperor, or martial gods like the Feather Martial God who had already stood at the peak of a planet and could step into the starry sky of the universe, they had all been recorded by the Dark Demon Realm. Most of the moves they used could be neutralized. Only the angels and the Crimson Fox supremacy were better, because it was impossible for the Dark Demon Realm to conquer the angel civilization. Seeing this, Wang Feng knew that he could not continue to watch like this. But something had happened in the long river of time. He wanted to try out the other use of the primordial spirit. Chapter 1654. All the lights and shadows in the river of time were things that had already happened. However, the initial wheel-time soul was a soul that had transcended time. It was a higher level of spiritual body. After cultivating it, it wasn't just for show. Wang Feng returned to the moment when Mu Rou and the others had just entered the soul-cleansing sea. He looked at the devil soul that was about to penetrate Mu Rou's soul. The lights and shadows were illusory and untouchable. At this moment, Wang Feng stretched out his hand and gently blocked it. In an instant, the river of time shook violently as if everything was changing. Countless lights and shadows disappeared in the river of time. Countless streams of light seemed to have been calculated and turned back into those lights and shadows, appearing in the river of time. It really works. Wang Feng slowly retracted his hand and felt a powerful force deep in his soul. It was the karma power of the world. In the river of time, he had used the initial wheel-time soul that he had cultivated to change the situation of Mu Rou's heart being penetrated by the devil soul. This was a terrifying ability. Even a demon god that had comprehended something similar to the origin of time could not do this in this world. However, Wang Feng could. At this moment, he suddenly felt the power of the initial wheel-time soul. However, a huge consumption followed. The price of changing, it was to bear the terrifying karma power. However, this karma power was very weak to Wang Feng. To be precise, his soul was too strong now. He had entered the river of time of this world and absorbed the experiences of countless reincarnated souls to cultivate the initial wheel-time soul. That was the essence of the river of time of this world. It only consumed soul energy. Thinking of this, Wang Feng continued to quickly change the other results. In order to reduce the consumption and at the same time avoid more karma power, Wang Feng only changed a large number of casualties, especially those that he knew and were more important. Generally speaking, Wang Feng did not have the intention to change it. If he had the time, Wang Feng would immediately rush over and use the Pengu axe to understand everything. Using the initial wheel-time soul was only suitable when it was too late and irreversible. Especially now that he had just cultivated it, he had to bear too much karma power. Now that he had no way to contact his main body, he could not use the red karmic fire lotus to refine his soul. In the long run, it would hinder his cultivation. Their situation doesn't look good. Wang Feng looked around and saw countless shadows of demonic souls rising from the sea as far as he could see, forming an encirclement. This meant that Mu Rou and the others had already been surrounded. Soul-cleansing sea. After entering the region of the soul-cleansing ocean, one could basically see the huge layer of clouds looming in the center, and the water gushing from below the clouds. At this moment, on an isolated island not far away from where he could clearly see the clouds in the center, the isolated island was slightly gloomy, as if it was shrouded in gloomy clouds. There were less than 10 angels in the sky, standing guard in the surroundings. At this moment, the scattered human souls were entrenched on the highest cliff of the isolated island. Captain Lung said that the well of Samsara might be in the middle of the clouds. Shang Jun looked exhausted as she spoke softly to Mu Ro, who was lying on top of her and on the verge of death. Is that so? That's great. Mu Ro forced a smile, but her soul spirit grew dimmer. We're about to succeed, but I might not be able to go to the well of reincarnation with you. Yes. Shang Jun's tone carried a hint of stubbornness. I'll take you there, along with other human compatriots. Mu Ro smiled. She glanced at Shang Jun from the corner of her eyes and said, Shang Jun, while you're still here, sing a requiem song for me. Not just me, but them too. Mu Ro stretched out her finger and pointed at the other souls in the distance. Their souls were extremely dim and close to disappearing. There were angels, demonic beasts, and martial artists. No, Shang Jun said. Mu Ro shook her head helplessly. She looked around. The closer they were to the clouds in the center of the soul-cleansing ocean, the brighter the sky became. It was the light of hope, the light of reincarnation. Under this light, Mu Ro's soul became more and more transparent. Shang Jun felt her eyes sting, but she couldn't shed any tears. She knew that her eyes didn't count. In her soul state, she didn't feel any pain. After a while, sing a song, Mu Ro said again. Okay, Shang Jun finally answered. The solemn lyrics were accompanied by a heavy melody, as if it wanted to take these souls to another world. Shang Jun finished singing a song in just a few minutes. Finally, she couldn't hold it in anymore. She knew that Mu Ro had already disappeared. There were no tears, but she couldn't hold back her crying. After crying for a long time, Shang Jun suddenly heard a sentence. Shang Jun, I haven't disappeared yet. You don't have to cry. The crying stopped abruptly. Shang Jun was stunned. She looked at Mu Ro in her arms again. She saw that Mu Ro's soul, which was gradually becoming transparent, had solidified. This meant that not only did she not die, but her injuries had also healed. You. Shang Jun looked at her in shock. Mu Ro was also a little confused. What's going on? Shang Jun suspected that she was dreaming. But how could a soul be dreaming? She examined Mu Ro a few times and found that she was indeed not injured. This is impossible, Shang Jun blurted out. Mu Ro stood up and looked at herself, who was unharmed. She couldn't help but wonder if she was the main character of this world. She didn't die, but how did she survive? She had clearly suffered such heavy injuries. Soon, she no longer had this doubt, because she saw that many souls that should have disappeared had all returned to their original states. They returned to their original states without any reason. Along the way, many of those angels had died. Those demon beasts had even lost a beast emperor. But it seemed that most of them had returned to their original states. Let's go and ask, Shang Jun said in a low voice. It's too strange. Along the way, they knew that the most powerful one wasn't Captain Lung among the angels. It was the Crimson Fox supremacy among the demon beasts. Not only was he powerful, but he was also the most knowledgeable. For creatures of their level, he knew a thing or two about everything. Thinking of this, they immediately walked to where the Crimson Fox supremacy was. There weren't many left who could reach this cliff. The number of souls added up was less than 100. Compared to the number of souls gathered at the Nether River waterfall, it might not even be 1%. As for those ordinary human souls, they were placed on the various small islands in the Nether River. When they came, the Crimson Fox supremacy was also surrounded by many souls. The most eye-catching one was the Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor. Thinking about it, Mu Ro still admired this demon beast. He was seriously injured by an origin demon while protecting martial Dalu. She was very impressed that there could be such love between humans and beasts, and it was even love in the soul state. In the soul state, most souls' desire to live was only to reincarnate. Everything else was illusory and illusory. Crimson Fox Supremacy, what's going on with me? The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor asked with a pair of tiger eyes. Logically speaking, my soul should have disappeared, right? Why am I fine now? I can't feel any damage to my soul at all, as if it never happened. You have lived the longest, and you have also stayed here the longest. You know more than us. The Crimson Fox Supremacy didn't say anything. On the other side, Angel Lung also looked on with some surprise and uncertainty. The souls of several angels in the angel faction should have dissipated by now, but now it was suddenly fine. It was fine without any warning. She couldn't understand it either. The Crimson Fox Supremacy raised his head. He first glanced at the central cloud layer in the distance and slowly said, "An almighty person changed the rules of time and changed everything that should have happened. So you were fine." The moment he said this, everyone was stunned. "Senior Crimson Fox Supremacy, what do you mean?" Muro walked forward and asked with a puzzled expression, "Change what rules of time?" The Crimson Fox Supremacy glanced at her and said, "Simply put, for example, if you go back in time and kill the demonic soul that severely injured you before it hits you, then you won't be seriously injured. Time is the rules of the world. As long as the rules are changed, it will naturally be possible to save you who should have disappeared. But who will save us?" The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor frowned and said, "No. Who has this ability? To be able to change the rules of time in this world. Can you do it?" "I can't do it. If I could do it, I would have left this world long ago." The Crimson Fox Supremacy closed his eyes. Then it must be a universe almighty who has reached another level. Not everyone can change the rules of time in this world. Not everyone can withstand the karma power from the universe after changing the rules of time. That is a power that can easily destroy any life. Everything in the universe has a destiny. If you want to change the destiny that has already happened, you have to bear the crushing of the karma will of the universe. When everyone heard this, their hearts were heavy. What will happen to this almighty who saved us? Mu Ro asked nervously. Wang Aoyan's figure subconsciously appeared in her heart. Could it be the senior? If it's light, it will be a backlash to his cultivation. If it's heavy, his soul will be annihilated. The Crimson Fox Supremacy said. It looked at these souls and said in its heart, in the universe, even universe-level life forms, even if they have this ability, would not easily change the rules. Because of this, their initial wheel cataclysm would be aggravated and there would be countless variables. Why do you dare to do this? The Crimson Fox Supremacy did not know who it was and was somewhat impressed. I feel that you don't need to care about this now. The Crimson Fox Supremacy suddenly pointed into the distance. It's best to think about how to deal with the demonic soul of a demonic god. Hearing this, everyone subconsciously looked over. A dark light shrouded their souls at this moment. It was a demonic soul that emitted an indomitable aura that was majestic and huge. His demonic aura was enough to make all the souls unable to resist. This was the demonic soul of a true demonic god, a familiar aura. Frontier demonic god, we're going to meet again. Wang Feng, who was still on the road, squinted his eyes as he looked at the demonic figure in the distance. His eyes glowed as though he had seen a treasure. End of this chapter. Chapter 1655. A demon god. A demon god with a complete demon soul. At this moment, everyone on the isolated island watched with wide eyes. Even if it was just a strand of demonic thought from a fiend celestial, they had seen it before. But now it was a complete demon god. The pressure of the life rating made their souls feel like drowning people in the sea. Even breathing was difficult, and this would also be the biggest obstacle to their journey. At this moment, in front of the mountain-like demon god, the clouds in the distance seemed close, but they were like a natural moat that cut off all hope. a mere demon god. As the leader of the angel faction, Tianlong's eyes were cold. The long sword in her hand pulsed with a powerful energy wave. But the angel next to him lightly held his shoulder. Leader, it's useless to rely on yourself at this time, Tian Ying said in a low voice. Maybe we can only survive if we work together. That's right. The Grand Flame Golden Tiger Emperor stood up. His body was similar to the Imperial Border Demon God in the distance. He felt that his soul was intact, but he was not afraid. At a time like this, we can only work together and defeat this demon god. Only then will we have a chance to enter the reincarnation well. As long as the demon god is defeated, the other demon souls will be in chaos. These demon souls are not as united as we thought. Otherwise, they would have come to kill us when we were still in the Nether River. They wouldn't have waited for us to enter the soul-cleansing ocean. Yu Wuxian nodded slightly. That made sense. You can't defeat him. At this moment, Red Fox Supremacy said slowly. He looked around and said, we can't defeat him even if we work together. You underestimate the soul demons. These demon souls may not be united, but they are strong enough. They have been secretly surrounding us since we entered the soul-cleansing ocean. Supremacy Crimson Fox paused for a moment and looked at Imperial Border Demon God in the distance. If this demon god has no other purpose, then there's only one possibility. He just wants to play with us. Otherwise, he would have killed us himself. Why would he let us come to this island, only one step away from the reincarnation well? Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Red Fox Supremacy lowered his head. But there is still a chance. What opportunity? Mu Ro asked subconsciously. As soon as he finished speaking, the angel coldly snorted and flew up. On Skyheart Island, I won't have the chance to exchange blows with emotion. I want to see just how strong these Dark Devil World's fiend gods are. In the Galactic War, they were nothing but cowards. In front of Heaven Cultivation King, not a single fiend god dared to come forward. His disdain was mixed with a bit of cold arrogance. She turned into a streak of white light and attacked the demonic figure. In the distance, who can tell me what's going on? This sovereign wants you to stop them midway. While you deal with some of them, let them pass. Why are most of these souls still intact? The Imperial Border Demon God looked at both sides with great dignity. Around him stood dozens of Origins fiends. Hey Wu, didn't you report to me that you killed a beast emperor of the demonic beasts? Why don't I see anyone injured? Imperial Border Demon God was extremely angry. What could it be that you can't deal with these few souls? The surrounding demonic souls were silent, not daring to speak. Imperial Border Demon God, I suspect that someone tampered with the time law of this world and changed the trajectory of some souls that have yet to disappear. Otherwise, with my understanding of the other party and myself, that beast emperor would have died without a doubt. How can it still be fine? The demonic soul, called He Wu, couldn't help but explain. Nonsense. Tampering with the time law of this world? Who has the ability to do that? Imperial Border Demon God pointed at the latter's forehead. You? Hey Wu. Seems like it. Who could do that in this world? At this moment, Imperial Border Demon God's demonic figure moved slightly and sneered. Hey Wu, go and destroy that winged angel. This sovereign will watch with my own eyes. I want to see who can tamper with the time law. As he spoke, he waved his hand lightly. A light flew out from his palm and landed on the island, turning into a formless purple-black dome that enveloped the entire island. Yes, He Wu flew out. As a demon master when he was alive, he was also overseeing a region and had slaughtered countless supreme powerhouses. Of course, this kind of thing was nothing difficult. The two of them clashed within Imperial Border Demon God's light barrier. The white sword image intertwined with the black demonic figure, forming a moving painting. Intense soul energy fluctuations turned into surging waves as the two of them clashed. However, after a short while, He Wu flew back. Many parts of his demonic figure seemed to have been burned, letting out a sizzling sound. It was obvious that he had suffered serious injuries. However, his expression didn't change. My lord, she was hit by my netherworld divine soul. Her soul will disappear in at most 100 breaths of time, Hei Wu reported. Imperial border demon God nodded slightly. He watched from the beginning and didn't make a move. A battle of this level wasn't worthy of him making a move. Perhaps the only one who could make a move himself was that Crimson Divine Sky Fox. Not bad. Imperial border demon God glanced at him and slowly transmitted his voice. Crimson Star, I know you are from the Crimson Divine Sky Fox clan. Yama Lord has already made me wait here for a long time. To be honest, for your sake, I allowed you to bring these humans into the soul-cleansing ocean and let their souls stay in this world for a while longer. Otherwise, they would have disappeared from the moment they stepped into the soul-cleansing ocean. Now, you should make a choice. Tell me, where did he go after reincarnation? Tell me the Yama Lord's instructions. She can help you remove the curse. Otherwise, this isolated island will be the place where your souls will rest forever. The loud, demonic voice echoed throughout the isolated island. Along with it, the angels landed on the edge of the cliff like kites with broken strings. For a moment, there was silence. Crimson Fox Supreme lowered his head slightly. Captain, a group of angels surrounded him. Their expressions changed drastically, their eyes filled with sadness. So strong? Great Flame Golden Tiger, Emperor muttered. They are in their best condition. Even the strongest angel was defeated so easily. How many rounds did it take? Imperial Border Demon God shook his head slightly and looked at Crimson Fox Supreme. Unexpectedly, the Demon God appeared for Crimson Fox Supreme. I don't know. Crimson Fox Supreme shook his head. Please thank the Yama Lord for me. I don't want my curse to be removed. As for where he went after reincarnation, sorry, I really don't know. If I knew, I would have gone to find him long ago. Because I don't know, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. There's no hope, so I don't want to be reincarnated. Imperial Demon God looked at Crimson Fox Supreme. His eyes were calm, without any extra expression. At this time, he knew that the other party couldn't hide anything from him. Imperial Demon God closed his eyes, looked at the isolated island below, and shook his head. Destroy it. Since there was no possibility, he couldn't be blamed. As soon as he finished speaking, the demonic souls surrounding the isolated island, like heavenly soldiers descending to the mortal world, turned into demonic shadows that covered the clouds and the sun and attacked the isolated island below. Under the countless demonic shadows, Mu-Ro and the others saw the cloud layer that represented the entrance to the reincarnation well. It disappeared in an instant. It was dark. Suffocation. At this moment, a majestic voice, like a long howl in the forest, came from afar. Imperial Demon God, you were a demon god when you were alive. Why did you become the watchdog of the reincarnation well after I killed you? Where's your dignity as a demon god? As the voice sounded, a dazzling light broke through the darkness and traversed the sky. Chapter 1656. That dazzling and familiar axe light tore through everything. It drew a faint light mark in the sky and did not disappear for a long time. The devil souls that came into contact with this light mark were instantly vaporized. For a moment, the devil souls that were about to swarm over were scared out of their wits. Like birds that were startled by the twang of a bow, they immediately scattered. As the intense light disappeared, a figure slowly appeared in front of countless people. It was a figure that gave people a mysterious feeling just by looking at it. However, in the eyes of Mu-Ro and the others, it was very familiar. It's Senior Wong. Mu-Ro covered her mouth in shock. But why does it feel like something is wrong? It's obviously different from the Senior Wong that I met before. Yes, the change was too big. In terms of appearance, there was not much change. However, the aura emitted from his body was completely different from the ordinary and weak soul from before. In simple words, in the eyes of Mu-Ro and the others, the aura of the figure in front of them was too mysterious. At first glance, they knew that it was definitely not simple. When Senior left, he said that he would come to the soul-cleansing sea alone. I didn't expect him to be behind us. The Great Flame Golden Tiger Emperor said in shock. I have been in the soul-cleansing sea for so long, but I didn't sense Senior's figure. I thought he was joking. I didn't expect it to be true. He didn't agree to our proposal before, but he still appeared now. Martial God, you thought for a moment. It seems that this Senior is bound to the human race. But now, we've all become burdens, and we're all dead. I wonder. She looked at Red Fox supremacy. However, she found that Red Fox supremacy had already sat down and only glanced at Angel Lung. It was completely different from the solemn look from before. It was as if he already knew. Little Angel, you are so lucky. It seems that he is really fated to be with you angels. That's true. After all, that thread of love. Red Fox supremacy smiled faintly. Angel Lung looked at her weakly, then turned to look at Angel Mo, who was in a daze, and asked, Little Mo, he should be the human you saw that day, the one who split Sky Hard Island and destroyed the demon god's remnant consciousness, right? Angel Mo came back to her senses and nodded. It's him, but it doesn't feel like it's him. Angel Lung frowned. What do you mean? Angel Foam thought for a moment and said, When I saw him that day, although his soul looked handsome and perfect, his aura was very ordinary. He was just an ordinary human. But now this soul is emitting a mysterious feeling as if it is one with the world, the angel said coldly. That's right. Angel Foam nodded again. Can he defeat the demon god? The angel muttered coldly. With that thought in mind, she looked at the distant frontier fiend god who had already turned and left. When she looked over, she seemed to have discovered a blind spot. Wait a minute. He said that he was the one who killed this god fiend. In the clouds, Imperial Border Devil God, who had already turned around and was about to leave, froze in place. He turned around and looked at the figure that he had long imprinted in the depths of his soul. His eyes burned with a raging flame. You're finally here. Imperial Border Demon God calmed the many emotions in his soul. Human, you came a little late. Why, it seems like you wasted a lot of effort on Huang Hai. It's all right. Wang Feng smiled and said, After all, he was divided into 6 parts and had to run around. It was quite troublesome. But you're different. You're complete. It shouldn't take much effort. Imperial Border Demon God, are you King looking down on me? My lord, this human is still looking down on you. A demonic soul beside him immediately said, he might not realize that he's now in our territory. I don't need you to say that. Imperial Border Demon God coldly glanced at this demonic soul. Human, you tricked me back then. I was careless and was hidden in another world by you. But do you think that you can still be the same as before? Imperial Border Demon God said coldly, You don't even have a helper by your side now? Why? Did you become a little arrogant after absorbing Huang Hai's demonic consciousness? Yes, I'm a little arrogant. Wang Feng nodded. Then, the Pangu axe condensed in his hand. He pondered and said, I wonder how many axes you can take now. Imperial Border Demon God opened his eyes wide and looked at the axe. Back then, he had been killed by this axe. It was still fresh in his memory. Inexplicably, his demonic figure trembled slightly and disappeared in an instant. His soul has become stronger again. Imperial Border Demon God thought. From that axe, he knew that the other party must have become stronger, no matter what soul aura it was. Just the pressure from that axe alone was enough to make the entire soul-cleansing ocean unable to resist. If he was not wrong, the familiar light pillar that he saw earlier must be this human. Thinking about it, it made sense. Other than this human, who could make Yama wait here? Who else could be so special? Just as he was thinking, an earth-shattering axe light came, as if it could split the universe. Imperial Border Demon God's soul shook violently. His soul energy surged wildly and formed tens of thousands of layers of shields around him. The shields were entwined with the power of the origin and emitted an extremely strong power. It was as if even the collapse of heaven and earth could not hurt him at all. However, under this axe, the layers of origin energy barriers were instantly turned into nothingness and disappeared without a trace. Imperial Border Demon God's expression changed drastically, and he was shocked. The power of the other party's axe seemed to be much stronger than before. Even if he was only in his soul state now. At this moment, Imperial Border Demon God did not even have the will to resist. It was as if the moment the axe light came down, all his will was destroyed. In the blink of an eye, a shadow appeared behind the Imperial Border Demon God. The shadow's appearance could not be seen, but it was vaguely a human figure. The shadow stretched out his hand slightly and caught Wang Feng's axe. Wang Feng was slightly stunned. Logically speaking, he would not come to the soul-cleansing ocean to look for Imperial Border Demon God if he was not 100% confident. With this axe, Imperial Border Demon God's demonic soul was not far from disappearing. With Imperial Border Demon God's strength, even if he had cultivated his soul in this world, he would not be able to block it even if he used all his means. This was the Pangu axe that was already 30% repaired. In addition, his soul was extremely powerful now. With this axe, he had fused with the initial wheel's soul and locked on from all angles. He did not even have the chance to search for treasures. However, he did not expect that the shadow would be able to block this axe. Suddenly, the shadow that came out of the Imperial Border Devil God's soul disappeared immediately after receiving the axe. It was like some kind of life-saving talisman. However, Wang Feng knew that the shadow was definitely not simple. Because when the shadow received the axe, it was clearly looking at him as if it was thinking about something. Imperial Border Demon God, you are very lucky. Wang Feng narrowed his eyes and looked at Imperial Border Demon God who had survived a great disaster and had a somewhat gloomy expression. What is that shadow? I can save you once, but I can't save you a second time. Save me. Imperial Border Demon God's expression was very strange as he revealed a sneer. Then, he said indifferently, I know what you want to do. You want to devour my demonic soul, right? And then enter the reincarnation well? Unfortunately, I don't want to do as you wish. Imperial Border Demon God laughed out loud. That bastard Huang Hai instigated me back then. If it was not because I was afraid back then, I might have already entered the reincarnation well. I don't want to be a pawn anymore. Imperial Border Demon God suddenly laughed wildly. In the intense laughter, his demonic soul was disappearing at an extremely fast speed. It was not a self-explosion, nor was it an attack. Instead, it disappeared directly. It was equivalent to disintegrating and dissipating between heaven and earth. Wang Feng frowned and was stunned for a long time. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.